and then send me that video. The second one is the report that is written in the Word file or maybe PDF file. Okay, so I may require you to send the video first, and later on, after you finish the military course, so that is the time for you to submit the group report in paper, okay, sorry, or in the Word file or PDF file. Okay, so to be mindful is that the video presentation will be submitted on 1st of May 2022, right? It means that 1 month for you to prepare from now. Okay, I think that I just like send you an alert like that, you know, we have no idea about the deadline, right? But you still need to prepare previous week, right? From the previous week. So it means that you still have something to prepare and then send it to me. And then that is for the video. However, for the group report, so you are required to submit that after you finish the military one. Okay, so it is around, let me check. So 1 month for military cost. So it is supposed to be submitted on 28 is the end of the military cost, right? So it will be submitted on at the end of May, right? 31st of May in 2022. That is the deadline for the written report. Okay, so is it fair with you? I think it's pretty fair, right? Okay, so because you have more time, so please make the report to be right, at the high value, right, at high quality. Okay, so let's come to the discussion of today's section. Right, who just joined the class? All right, for students that come to the class, let me know, right? Otherwise, you will be marked absent. I see that someone just joined the class. Is it Đạt, right? Đạt just joined the class. Thành Đạt, Lê Bé Thành Đạt. Okay, so just let me know. Otherwise, you will mark absent. All right, so let's move to the revision today. In the previous section, you learned about how can we do valuation, right? Through the earning method. Okay, through the earning method or earning-based valuation. This means you pay mostly on profit of the company, right, to make the valuation. And then one of the very basic model is when you use the residual income valuation method. Okay, why is that? You know, okay, so let me share the screen here. Section 5. Okay, right here. Okay, right. So you also learn about the residual income. It means that you are required to forecast about the expected future net income, right, at each period, and then forecast the book value of common equity, and you just discount it, or you just estimated the future required income, subtract the future required with the expected income, so that's how you can come up with the residual income, and you estimate the present value of the residual income to come up with the value of the firm. Okay, so basically you learn many things here for the earning method, but you know, in reality, it is hardly that we use the residual income model to make valuation, right? Because the advantage is less than the disadvantage that is associated with this valuation method. So basically, when you want to make valuation for enterprise, okay, for any firm, the most popular method is that you can use the free cash flow method, or you can use what is called the dividend discounted model, right? As long as this company pays dividends, so you can use two of them. However, for me, and then for the regular practice, there is hardly that they use the residual income valuation method, because one of the most important disadvantage of this method is that, you know, when we record income, right, we record revenue into the balance sheet or into the income statement. So that is not clearly the cash, right? Because you know that some income was incurred in this period, but it's not yet paid today. So because of that, that is not a good measure not a good measure to know about the cash of the company, and then that will be represented on the valuation. Okay, the value of the company. Okay, so clearly, right, as you learn about valuation, so you know that is some of the method that you should be mindful about. Okay, and then why is it relevant here when you just use the residual income, or what we call it, the excess
I
or
have more than 20
disposable
years
income
in marketing
to make the
research.
valuation. Okay, so clearly, if you want to estimate residual income, there must be something here, right? Some step that you may follow. Okay, and I think that is stated very clear. Okay, so here the concern I just mentioned, right? Not a reliable or meaningful of as cash or dividend, right? Because even though the company recognize the revenue today, but some of the revenue may belong to what is called the account receivable, and then we cannot, right? We are not, we may not collect the account receivable today, so that does not represent the cash. Okay, okay, so clearly, you know, we must follow the step, right? Okay, very clear for the residual income. Okay, so now we will jump into the exercise to see how we can apply the residual income in evaluate the firm, right? The discount rate is still the same as the previous valuation model, but just the residual income is a different one. Okay, it means you base on the income or the profit rather than the cash flow or rather than the dividends. Okay, all right, so today quiz, today discussion, we have, let's see, we have many questions that we have today. 2 questions, right? Okay, 2 questions. Let's wait a little bit. I will open the file and then I will have a look at the question here. We have topic 5. Okay, share screen. Here, topic 5. Problem 13.14, 13.16, right? So only 2 problems for today. And you know, because you have the guest speaker section for 2 hours. So it means that for Dr. Kim's section, for the case study will be delivered in the next section. Okay, so today it's just for you to be like to ask many things about the group project with the guest speaker and then help them to make it clearer for you for some point in like how can they evaluate a project in the reality. Okay. So the first one, 13.14. Right, 13.14, we have A, B, C, D, E. So, A, B, C first, right? A, B, C first, and then D and E later. So choose student for this question, 13.14. And then I see 2 of you raising the hand. However, you know, okay, just give me a second because I still see that some of the students haven't said anything in the class. So is it better if those students raise a hand? I think that maybe Thu An and then Linh Chi raised a hand already in the previous section, right? Maybe Thu An, you answer question A in problem 8.3 and Linh Chi also, right? So have you said anything in Linh Chi? Have you present anything? Not yet? Okay, right. Not yet, right?
Yes.
Okay. So while I keep remember that you prepare something. Okay, I don't see you. I don't see the notation right here. So I will call Linh Chi. Okay, Linh Chi, IBC. Okay, you can share the screen.
My screen.
All right. Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Oh, yes. So I think that our boss can see your screen. Okay, so you can present.
Okay, so the question A, the problem required to compute the required rate of return on equity capital. So it is equal to the risk-free rate plus the beta multiplied by the risk premium. So come with this number here. And the question B is calculate the required income for year +1, and it is equal to the risk the rate of return on equity multiplied by the book value. So here is the result. And the question C is the residual income. So it will equal to the forecasted net income for year +1 minus the required income for year +1.
Okay, so I think that is pretty good, right? Okay, thank you, Jay. So right, just keep like the screen like this. All right, so clearly the question A, right, just very simple. Use CAPM, right, capital assets pricing model to compute the required rate of return. Is that you just take what is called the risk-free rate plus beta multiply with the market risk premium. Okay, so you have the market equity beta already, and then you have the risk-free rate to be 4%, the market risk premium, right? Risk premium is just like a premium that an investor expect to compensate for the risk that they need to bear when they invest in the stock of one of these company. Okay, so market risk premium. So all together we have 8.8. Okay, so it seems that the required return for Dell company is the high one, right? Okay, so option B, project, or it means that forecast the required income for the years +1 for each firm. Okay, forecasted required income. Okay, so required income here. All right, so how can we come up with the required income? Okay, so let me wait a little bit. Okay, so required income is very clear that, you know, for the required income, it's just equal to what is the required rate of return on the invested capital, right? On the invested capital. So the capital invested here, or the book value of equity for the company to be 39, right? Approximately $39,000 for Microsoft, and then right Intel and then Dell. So just need to multiply this one with the required rate of return that you just estimate for option A, and then how you come up with the required income. Okay, residual income, very clear, is the difference between let's say the required income and then the forecast income right here. Okay, so clearly when you take the difference, it means you take the sorry, what is called the forecast of net income for the year 1, and then you minus the required income. Okay, so that is the residual income for you. Okay, for the company, right? The residual income, right? Okay, so I think that is good for option A, B, and C, right? Just some basic calculation. And now we jump into the option D and E. Okay, thank you, G. So let's continue with one more student for this question. Okay, so anyone here volunteer? Right, let's see one message from Dag. Okay. Thành Đạt. So we have one absent, two absent. Diễm. All right. So anyone volunteer for question D and E in the problem 13.14, especially for the one that haven't raised a hand, right? Because I will need your score for every time you present, right? This is the participant score. So if you have the answer or if you prepare well, so just raise your hand. Okay. Here we have Phương Anh. Phương Anh. Thành Đạt. Okay, any volunteers, guys, for the question that I just asked you? C and D and E. Any volunteer? No volunteer? Okay, so if no volunteer again, I will have to call randomly a person. Okay. So let's see. Okay, let me see. We have many students here. Haven't raised a hand. So what about Minh Tuấn? Can you answer this question? I think that you are here. And you also check the attendance, right? Hello, Tuấn, can you hear me? I see you on the screen.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, right. So can you explain question D and E for problem 13.14?
Okay,
right, by share the screen. Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Okay, I think that I see the screen.
Okay. In question D, so we can calculate the book value of equity in each company, and with Dell company, we calculate by the market value divide the book value. So we have the formula.
Okay, so how can you rank them? Like the question is that how you rank, right? For question D. Okay.
So I rank the book value of equity by the highest to smallest, and so the highest resident income is Dell, and the second is Microsoft, and the last is Intel.
Okay, right. So all right. So I see that here the ranking is Dell first, right? And then that is how you estimate. This is called the residual income relative to the book value of equity. This means that the ratio of residual income, right, related to the regarded to the book value. Okay, so it means that clearly with the book value you invest in the company, right, with the equity that shareholder invest in the company. So how much, right, how much residual income that can be generated, right, from the invested book value of equity, and then this number is the highest for Dell, and right, this keep on decreasing for Microsoft, and then the lowest one is for Intel. Okay, so that is how you rank the company based on the ratio between residual income and then the book value of equity. Okay, had to find a cafe. Okay, Diễm. What about questions E? Can you tell me what is your answer for question E? Okay, don't just continue. I think that you must answer D and E also, right? As I just explained, A, B, C for Linji, D and E, right? You must answer the question. Okay, or if you cannot answer, so you may ask one of your class member to answer the question. Okay, and then maybe you just receive half of the point, right? So anyone that answer the question, right? Maybe Tuấn can ask someone here, and then he received the reduction, or he can present a question and then receive like the score for that two questions. Diễm, sorry, my blog experience has power cut. So, okay, Diễm, right?
Okay, so maybe Wufo will help me to answer the question E.
Okay, Phú, right? Yes, please, Phú.
Can you see my screen now?
I think that maybe your internet connection is not good, right?
I'm from group 3, so yes. Wait a minute.
Okay, you from group 3, the same group with Linh Chi, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And then I think that you haven't, maybe you haven't present. So, okay. Yes, Paul.
Wait me a minute.
A and 13 or 14.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
All right, we can see your screen. At least
Okay,
from
for
my
the first part of the question E, we will answer that the residual income can show the ability of the firm to create the wealth for the shareholders. So based on the available information, so we conclude that the Microsoft is the largest among the 3 firms because it creates the created value for the shareholder in year 1, in year +1, and followed by the other 2 simultaneously. For the second part of the question is, the residual income also explained for the difference in the market value of the equity across the firm. So the higher residual, the higher market value of the equity. Yes.
Okay, so right, that is the answer for question E, right? Okay, thank you, Phú. So for question E, we have 2 parts, right? Just skip the screen like that. And here, the first thing the question asks you is, what do the different amount of residual income imply for each firm, right? And do the projected residual income amount help explain the differences in the market value of equity across the firm? Okay, so clearly, if you are just look at what is called the residual income, so you have a look at the option C, right? Question C, you see that, right? Microsoft is like create a substantial amount of shareholder wealth in year 1, right? Given the residual income to be approximately $13,000, right? So that is when we talk about the one that creates the largest amount of shareholder wealth, because we can use the residual income to measure the shareholder wealth, right? And later on that will be distributed as dividends. So that's why we can use it to measure the shareholder wealth, right? At the same time, you know, the question also asks you like projected residual income amount help explain the difference in market value of equity across the firm. Okay, right, so your answer here is that residual income explained for the difference in the market value of equity across the firm. So you confirm, right? And then you see that higher residual income, higher market value of equity. Okay, so I'm not sure is it clear about this. So how can you conclude that higher residual income is associated with higher market value of equity? Okay, so how can we estimate residual income? Can you tell me? So I think you need to understand the question, right? Because you know, in the exam, if you just give the answer like this, so and then without any backup of information, so definitely Dr. Duc will just ignore your answer. Okay, even though it's right or it's correct, but he just ignore. Okay, Dr. Duc is very tough. He's not like me. Okay, I'm much more easier. However, you know, Dr. Duc, right? He is a professor already. So when he create your paper, he's very tough. Okay, so when you write this sentence down, like higher residual income, high market value of equity, so you need to be more clearer. Okay, on why is that? Okay, so here, I think that I will share you like the solution file that I just prepared here, because you know the question requires you to estimate what is called the option C and D, right? They ask you to estimate projected residual income, and secondly, right, they ask you to estimate the percentage of residual income that generated from the book value of equity in year +1. So which of the firm, right, generate the highest percent of residual income related to book value? You need to include that in your like answer. Okay, so let me share the screen, right? You can stop share and then I will share the screen and then explain for the answer. So clearly, I think that most of you may be mindful about how can we come up with A, B, C, and D, right? The ranking and the residual income, based on the required income, right? So that means the residual income is the difference between the income that you expect to receive and then the income that you forecast, okay? And then that is the difference between required income and then the forecasted income right here, okay? So it means that the required income, when it is, the book value of equity, when this one is higher, so that will affect to the, let's say the required income. However, when you say that, when you write out like higher residual income, so higher the market value, that is not totally correct, right? Because you need to be clear about the relationship between them in order to come up with that sentence, okay? So clearly, I just explained shortly right here, and then I think that most of you agree that Microsoft is the largest one because given the ranking right here in the projected residual income, so they have the highest value of residual income, right? And that means that this company generates what is called the largest amount of shareholder wealth, okay, in year +1, okay? However, here, right? Even though that Dell company just generate a residual income of approximately $1,500, but that it did utilize the book value of equity very well, right? To generate that book value or generate the investment by the equity shareholder for creating the shareholder wealth. That means, right, the ROCE, it means that return on capital employed for their company is the largest one. Okay, so here we have a new term to be mindful, that is the return on capital employed. Is that how well the company utilize the equity from the shareholder, right? To invest, right, to produce the good and sell the good in the market. How can they utilize that and then generate the shareholder wealth? Okay, how well is that? That is measured by the return on capital employed. Okay, so this ratio can help to understand how well a company is generating profit from its capital, right? The shareholder capital, and it is put to use. Okay, so from the operation of the firm. So even though you see that Microsoft has a very high level of residual income, but compare with the how well it managed that source of capital. So Dell is much better than Microsoft, and then Intel is like the weakest one. Okay, so that's how you can use the information from option C, right? Question C and then question D to answer question E. Okay, based on what is called the ROCE or return on capital employed, as Dell is creating the highest residual ROCE. Okay, right. Okay, so that's also explain why it has the largest market value of equity, given it can create more shareholder wealth, more wealth for the shareholder. Okay, given the ROCE to be the highest one. All right, so that is some explanation for questions 13.14. And right, maybe in the exam, I'm not sure Dr. Duc will ask you all things like that, but he just asked you like question C. Okay, Dr. Duc really want to ask you the question that require you to be rational. Okay, the rational question based on calculation. Okay, calculation part is not difficult, right? Like you forecast, you discount, it's very simple, right? However, how can you explain for the number? That is the thing that Dr. Duc will ask you. Okay, so that is 13.14. And let's continue with another question. The last one is 13.16. Okay, 13.16. Here we have only 2 questions, all right, very short, including question A and then question B. All right, so 1 student for question A and 1 for question B. Okay, so anyone volunteer? Okay, Phúc Quang. Yes, Phúc Quang, you volunteer for question A, is it?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you can share the screen.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So for the question 13.16, they asked us to compute the residual income. Using the residual income valuation model to compute the value of the company from year one. So first, I will start with compute the present value for the total present value for the first 5 years. Is that first, I will start with the book value of the company and comprehensive income for the 5 years. And with the dividend is equal to 30% of the comprehensive income of the same year. So we will have the ending value. For the 6th year, it will just for the 6th year, the comprehensive income is just the comprehensive income of year 5 plus 1%, and the same calculations gone. For next is for the compute the residual income. We have the comprehensive income and the required income equal to the book value of the same year multiplied by the cost of capital. And the residual income will equal to comprehensive income minus the required income. And we also compute the present value for the same year. And for the 5 year, I have the total value for the 5 year. Next, we move to the present value for the 6 year.
That is the terminal value, you mean the horizontal value?
Yeah, the present value for the terminal value. So the comprehensive income above the calculation for the required income is the same. We'll take the book value of year 6 multiplied by the cost of capital. We have the residual income. I don't know why it's negative, but yeah.
Okay, it's negative, and then it's negative, right, from the estimation. So, okay.
So for the compute, this is not. I think this the residual income for the year 6. Yeah, I take the K23 divided by so this is the residual income for the terminal value, and I'll take the the present value of it. So the total residual income will equal to the residual income of total 5 year plus the year 6, and we have the initial book value of equity here, and to compute the total value of the company, we sum them up, the total residual income and the initial book value. We adjust to the mid-year adjustment. That's for the
Okay, right. I see what you mean here. You also include what is called a mid-year adjustment, right? However, I think that maybe the equation don't require you to do the mid-year counting, so you can ignore, right? However, if they just require you to do like mid-year this like adjustment, so you will have to include. Okay. Right. So just give me a second. Okay, here. All right, so something that you should be mindful here is all right, so we have some calculation for what is the beginning book value of equity, right, based on the formula right here. So clearly when you want to estimate the beginning and then ending value of book equity, so you need to include all 4 components, right? Because the ending value, right, including the start of the year value, beginning value, plus, right, what is called a comprehensive income, right, the additional income that you earn, right, that this company earned during that year, and then minus the dividend payment, right, minus dividend payment, right. This is the cash outflow for dividend payment, so you must minus it and then to come up with the ending value of equity, right? Because here we talk about required income, is equal to the rate, right? Required rate of return multiply with the beginning book value of equity. Okay, the beginning book value of equity at the start of the year. So it means required income, right? The rate of return, and then multiply with here. This is the beginning book value of equity. So we do it similar for like year 1 to year 5, and then that's how you can come up with the required income. Okay, you have the comprehensive income already. It means that you just forecast the comprehensive income based on some basic indicator, and then you come up with the residual income. It's the difference between comprehensive income and required income. Okay, so the valuation in this case is that you discount the residual income back to the present. Okay, and then the total value of the residual income at present, that is the value of the firm. Okay, here you need to be mindful about what is called the horizontal value or the terminal value. Okay, because here it is assumed that the comprehensive income, right, as you can see on the left hand side is the question. The comprehensive income to grow at 5% annually after year 5. Okay, it means that after year 5, we will need to apply what is called the growing perpetuity model in estimating the present value. Okay, so the income will grow at a constant rate, right, from now to forever. So you can use the formula for the perpetuity growing model to estimate the terminal value and discount the terminal value back to the present. That is how you get the present value of the terminal value, and this equal to a minus of $351, right? And that is the present value of the terminal value for the residual income. Okay, so altogether you plot the present value of the planning period plot with the present value of the terminal value. Okay, so that is equal to the total residual income to be 130,000, right? Approximately $131,000. Okay, so that's how you can come up with the residual income, and then the book value of equity to be 100, right? Approximately $1 million. Okay, and then you can come up what is called the total value. Okay, total value of the company in year 1 when you plot the residual income with the the present value of the residual income with the common equity of the firm, right? At year +1, that is the value of the firm. Okay, so basically that is how you come up with the calculation. All right, so I'm not sure whether this will appear in your exam, but you need to grasp the step of calculation. Okay, remember that is not when you estimate the required income, that is not you multiply the required rate of return with the ending book value, but this is the beginning book value of equity, right? Something you need to take note, right? And here, question B is that what advice would you give to Kelsey regarding home ownership? Okay, so one student, please. Anyone have the answer for the question B for 13.16? Okay, thank you, Quang. 13.16 here. All right, the last one for today's section. Any volunteer? Any volunteer, please? Okay, just the rationale question, right? So just let me know what you are thinking. Okay, let me know what you are thinking. Don't be afraid of right or wrong. So I need to know where are you standing right now to fix that mistake. Okay, right. Anyone? Question 13.16. Question B. All right, especially the student haven't raised the hand. So you can raise the hand and then you will be given the point for your contribution. Okay, so I think maybe if no one raises a hand, so I will call randomly a person. Is it Lê Khánh Linh already? So I may call Phương Anh. You hear Phương Anh? Hello Phương Anh,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay, can you share the screen?
Can I as my friend share my screen for me because I don't have used my laptop.
Okay, of course, right. Whatever. So as long as you can present, so it's all fine.
Yeah. You know, say have me insert my screen.
You guys can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You open the system.
Okay, question B. Phương Anh.
Yeah. You scroll down the question B, not question A. Yeah, and our results either resident income will decrease from year 1 to year 5 and turn negative in year 6. And this means that the company will lose value at the current growth rate of 5% and the required rate of return. And in year 5, the ratio of the net income to equity is 12.45% and higher than 12%. So hence she should sell at year 5.
Okay, can you explain more clearer? Because I think you just read the thing here. But right, because when you answer the question, so is it good? Is it better if you can like connect the thing from question A for your explanation? Okay, because you need to base on the question A, right, for the estimation, and then you can come up with the answer for question B, right? Here, I think that you right. So can you make like the slide to be a little bit smaller so we can see question A and B at the same time? Okay, control and then click on the minus sign on the keyboard. Okay, control and then click on the. Okay, right here. Wow, it's too small. Okay, here. Right, it's good. Okay, so you see that. You say that the residual income decreased from year 1 to year 5. Yes. And then turn negative in year 6. Okay, so you need to point out on the table right here why it turned out to be a minus. Okay, you need to include that in your explanation. And the company will lose value, right? Because clearly you know that the company residual income, when we estimate the difference between comprehensive and then the required income, so this is a negative number, right? It means that the company doesn't generate any wealth to the shareholder at year 6, okay? Because residual income is one indicator to measure the shareholder wealth, right? That the company distributed to the shareholder. However, it's become a negative one, so it means this is not a good point for the company, right? So clearly, for Kelsey is the owner of the firm, so she must think about a way to release of the company. It may be at the end of year 5 when the residual income is still positive, or it can be any year, right? Year 1 to year 5, right? Anytime she can sell the company because she still generates the profit for her, and then the residual income is still positive. However, after year 6, when like she's decided to sell it to someone, and then that the purchase, like the buyer, see that there's a negative, right, of residual income, so there's no way that this buyer will buy the company. Okay, so that is one very good advice for Kelsey in this case, when she's know that later on her residual income is decreasing. So the best, right, strategy for her is to find out a buyer of the company as soon as possible, because the more she keep the company, so the more like reduction in the residual income or in the value of the company that she must suffer. Okay, so clearly that is like the short explanation for the question B, right? I want you to be like given a more comprehensive one if you have this question in your exam. Okay, so I just sum up my file for you because I know Dr. Duke very well. I did study in his class long times ago, so he is very tough, right? Even though in the class he's not that tough, but when he grade your paper, right, he want to know your rationale. Okay, that is how the question in your exam, the calculation part is not difficult, but you know the reasoning part. Okay, so just take note of everything that he asks you, and then he discussed with you in the class, especially for the extension part, right? Many of the extension part is not included in the slide. That is the thing that he will ask you. Okay, so right, so that is for question B. And then also, right, when you just have the answer here, so I will share with you. Okay, so clearly I think that you might be mindful about how can we estimate for the option A, right, from the beginning with the ending book value of equity, and then you pay more attention to the beginning, because we will use this to estimate the required income. Okay, the required income. Okay, so what about the option B? So clearly, as what I just explained to you, because the value will be like the residual income will be negative, and then when this residual income keep on being negative, so that will affect to the terminal value. Okay, it makes the terminal value to be negative, and the value of the company is decreasing over time. Okay, given the money, the value generated to be negative over time after year 6. So the best decision for her in this case, that when you compare, right, with the required rate of return to be 12%, but later on when you see that year 6, right, the return generated, it's just like decreasing. So if she don't sell the company after year 6 or after year 5, so that is the loss that she must suffer. Okay, so you can have some basic calculation right here to know about the return for Kelsey in year 1, year 5, right, to year 5 and then year 6, and then that number keep on decreasing, which is not a good sign, right? When her the required capital for her is up to 12%. So if you just let the time to pass, so that will affect to the value of the company. Okay, right. So that's something that you should be careful about when it comes with the question in the final exam. Okay, so maybe you will have the final exam after the military course. Okay, so I think that if you don't take note carefully today and later on when you do the revision, is it really difficult? Okay, so that's something for today's revision, 13.14 and then 13.16. Okay, I will upload the file here on e-learning for you to be preview at home as well, right? Like other section. Okay, so I think you should take I think the end. This is the end for today section for my section. However, right, as I noted for you, we will have the guest speaker to come at 4:45. Okay, so maybe 10-minute break for you before we come to the section with the guest speaker. Okay, and then Dr. Kim will hold the section. All right, so see you all next time, and then we will see each other later. Okay, in next week. Right. Okay, goodbye. See you all. Okay, yeah.
Clarify some point in terms of our project as well. So I hope that today you will have the great knowledge, and you will have more confidence from the project. That I hope that I will receive, I will read the report that is outstanding from you all. Okay, so I wish that we today will have the best time. Okay, so because of the two guest speakers will be discussing with you, so I don't think that we will able to control our time, especially the case that we are assigned for this session. So do you want, I will give you some options first. In the meantime, while we are waiting for the guest speaker, if any one of you want to present your work, that will be best. Otherwise, next week we we will discuss quickly what you have questioned regarding to today case and next week case, next session case, okay? So because we have less time for the case, so I guess that we will just focus on the question. Yes, so because of focusing on answering question only, we expect that you have to raise a question or what you want to clarify, rather than you wait for me to guess where is the trouble, where is the most important for you all, okay? Because I don't know your issue. So sometimes I assume that the case is like step by step of the evaluation, right? So you remember that the whole case will learn from this chapter to the next one and then to the next one. Okay, so in the end, we jump into the valuation to the value of the business, right? And if you value the whole business, then you don't you may not have to consider the stock, the security, the share. But if you kind of you just want to buy, or you just want to own a portion of that, and you may consider of the unit price, okay? And you also come into valuation to assess or to analyze the sensitivity. What if this happened? Then how it will affect our value. So what if maybe how about the inflation? How about the sales? How about the cost? How about whatever you feel that it may change? Yeah, if it has high probability, high chance that it happened, then you will raise that question by putting into the sensitivity analysis. So in the end, you will analyze everything, and that technically that is the whole package of the property of any business, any kind of business you want to value, you want to manage, you want to control. Say if we are doing property, then that will be the is someone is that our guest speaker? Okay, I assume that when the guest speaker comes, then he will say hi to all of us, and then we will give a big welcome to him. Okay, otherwise we will keep discussing about either our case or the property project, because this subject is a combination, combining both the property and in general the business valuation. So sometimes I just change, or I jump from this topic to another one. But technically, property is one particular. You can use this property project, and you can apply to any other, say business valuation. To apply the same principle. The principle is that you need to understand the subject that you want to do valuation. If you don't understand it, you can't say assess that. It is kind of like our example is you want to evaluate an elephant, and if it is too big and you just see one point of that, and then you say it is like that, it is like this. So you need to step back, you need to understand the whole picture of that, say the whole industry from one business. You have to understand the business and the environment, the system, right? That is called the industry. That is called the whole economy, where it is operating. If it has the relationship with the global business, then you need to analyze if the global business also affected or not. Okay, so that is the principle that I want you to remember. So after you finish this subject, you can go out into your internship, into anywhere. It doesn't matter business, what kind of business it is. It can be property, it can be any business. You just need to apply the situation, okay? Apply the principle and consider the particular situation of the business that you are doing, okay? And I hope that you all will be successful, and maybe in the future, if I see you, some of you again, I will be very happy to see you successful. Okay, so that is what I say. Maybe too early, but it will apply to now. It's already almost finished our term, so you will have 2 more sessions, and that will be the end of the subject. And you need to see forward to the end of the project, what you will do. Okay, so do you have any questions so far? Just don't hesitate to raise question. Okay, I understand that this class, every class is different, but I hope that some of you will break the ice. Okay, and raise question to the guest speaker. Your class is very special because you have 2 guest speakers. The previous class only 1. Okay, and they raised lots of questions. So I hope that you all will think and will apply your project and use that to raise more questions, okay? So that it can help your friend, of course, yourself to understand more, understand better in terms of property, and doesn't matter other project as well, other subject, asset, business, okay? So you can raise any question regarding to property development, property valuation, property management, similarity or differences between property and other project, other business. Just ask. If guest speaker they can give you answer, then that's good. If not, then they may give you answer by email later. Okay. So just utilize this opportunity. I know that you are very lucky because we try to give you more guest speaker, because that is the outstanding point of this class. Okay. So do you have any questions so far? Any question? No. So can I ask, how do you feel in preparing the case? How do you all feel about doing the case? Hard? Confused? Anyone feel get lost? too complicated to give the answer? Panic, okay. Was it panic before? Is it, and now are you still in panic? I know it may be somehow a panic for you, but try to, when you see too much information, then you just summarize that, the main point only. New session with new panic. Yeah, that's, I think if you summarize it and you just see the main point, like we say, like when you draw, if any of you learn how to draw, I didn't learn draw basically. I just you know, visit some classes. So I guess that if you just get the frame or the structure, and then from there you can develop to make it more detailed. Yeah, and then you will get to it. Just like you say that for this case you have to do part 1, 2, 3. Okay, so part 1 we need to do this, part 2 we need to do this, and then you develop more. All right. Just learn like that. Someone if some of you do say you draw a picture, yeah, or when you learn you also draw a chart, then you apply that into the case. You may not get panic. It's just like when you look back, you feel that it is a panic. But when you are doing that, don't look too big. Just focus on one point. And you remember that after you do that, then what is next? Remember the main step. And then each step, then you have to do what? Okay? So you don't be panic. And also you are in teamwork. Okay? So you can always discuss and chat. All right. Any other question? Any other feeling? Any positive feeling? I'm waiting for the guest speaker. I don't know if we are better. We should use our time to talk about our case. What do you say? You can talk about your case, about your property project, about anything. So utilize our time, okay? Any question, anyone? Any question? So who want to volunteer to show your work? Which group? Any further work from last week, last fortnight, actually? Anyone? Come on. this is the time that you should utilize the resources, because in the future, you may ask someone else, you can't ask me anymore. Okay, so what is the case of this week? Who want to volunteer? If not, then I will ask. Okay, can I ask group 2?
Yes. Okay, so we will say as our case for today.
Yep.
Okay, so about this case. So we will continue with the stop case. So for today we will like calculate the residual incomes. So this is 9, 10. So here's our calculations. So at first that we take the return on equity, that is 7.5, which have been calculated before in the previous sessions. And also the second data that we had to take is about the long run growth, that is 3% for the year 6, and also for the next years from year 6 also. So at first we will calculate it, we will build the table to calculate the ending value. And in here you can see that we start with the start of the year, that is the value of the equities, which we take from the balance sheet forecast. So that is the E44. So in here you can see that is the number of total equity that we have calculated before. So and then we have the start of the year, and for year 6 that is like we have forecast for year 6 also, and with the growth rate of 3%. So in here we have the data of the start of the year. And next we will talk about the comprehensive income. So we also have checked this number from the projected operating expense and operating income also in the E27. So that is this number. Yeah, comprehensive incomes we already have calculated that, and we add in the table. Dividend also from the statement of cash flow. And after that, with the formula that start of the year plus with comprehensive incomes and minus dividend, we will have the ending value for the 6th year. And based on that, we will forecast the period value. At first, is that we calculate the required incomes based on using the start of the years multiply with the return on equities to have the required incomes for the 6 years. And for the 5 year, actually, because for the year 6, we will calculate it later. And we also calculate the residual incomes, like take the comprehensive incomes minus the required incomes in that number. And we will discount it to the present value based on the formula. So we take the residual incomes divided by the 1 minus B1, that is the return on equities. I don't know. With the number of years, and we take the present value of the 5 years, and we will continue with the calculation for the year 6. So in here, that year 6 we will calculate the residual income just based on the normal calculation, like the 5 year, and then we will present that value to the year 5 in here, and we will present that value to year 0 also with the formula I have shown here. And then we calculate the total present value of the residual income for the 6th year and for the 6th year, and also for the onward also. So that is the all total present value of residual income. And we take the book value, and we continue calculate the total present value of the company. And we will calculate the mid-year adjustment, because in America, so it will happen at the middle of the year. So we take the mid-year adjustment, and we take the number of shares outstanding, and we calculate the per share value based on the number we got. And compared to current share price, we will calculate the difference in the in the price that they had changed. So it's quite large significantly. So I think that's we are quite like overestimate the performance of company. Yeah, I guess. And based on that, we will use the sensitivity analysis. So in the question trees that I have mentioned that they will change the growth rate, and also they change the like the return on equity. So we use the table. So actually, because on the sheet we could not use the table, so we download the file to Excel file and we run the table, and then we paste the number in here, instead, and then we got the value, the total value of the of the like the value of the value, and then we also do the same to calculate the percent difference. If we change the discount rate, it means that we change the return on equity. Also, we change the we change the growth rate and we change the return on equity. So what is the percent difference will happen? And then we got that number. So that is how we calculate the case for today.
Thank you. Time for question. Everyone? So I appreciate that we sometimes for me, I know that it's better for you all to do without the package, the financial package in advance, because you better do it like we call like manual. We like say, for example, before you know anything, before you know for sure, you should do it manually. Say, for example, if you learn how to write, then you can use the computer. You can use a typewriter, right? But if you don't know how to write, then you can't do handwriting. It is not good. You better know how to write, how to calculate before you can use calculator, before you can use the typewriter and computer. So similarly, I suggest that you better do it manually, step by step manually. And after each step, you can always raise question, why do we need this step? Why is it necessary for this question? Why is it? Because technically the case, the whole question is step-by-step procedure. Okay, step-by-step guide you to the end for the analysis. And you can see that there are a few approaches in the valuation of this business, Starbucks. And you will see that each approach will give you a number of its valuation, right? And in the end, you will see that, so which amount should I use finally? However, you can see that it is too complicated, like one of you say, to panic with the number. Just remember that it is similar pattern, similar in pattern. So you can see that for the first, say, 5 years, it could be a high growth rate. So you can calculate in particular number in each year. But after that, it is stable, say 3% or 4 or 5%, etc., depending on your judgment in the scenario. And after that, you can just use the final year and you calculate the terminal value. Okay, so technically every approach will be similar. It a little bit different, but it is similar. So if you remember, if you learn the principle, each approach will have a little bit different in principle. but in general, it has the same root, the same pattern. Okay, so can I ask anyone can raise a question just to clarify each step by step? What is the first step in the residual approach? This one I ask for you all so that you can have some memory regarding to this residual. How to calculate in terms of residual approach. Residual valuation, how? Can you summarize?
Can I answer this question? Okay, so I think that to calculate the residual income, so at first, based on the formula, we have to take the comprehensive income minus the required income. So based on that formula, we can get the residual income. However, to gain the residual incomes, to have the comprehensive income and also have the required income, we will need we need the data for the comprehensive income based on the projected operating expense and also operating incomes. So that is based on the income statement. And the second point that is when we want to need the required incomes, that we must to have like the return or the cost of equity. So that means that we must to have the number of CAPM that is 7.5%, and we also need to have the number of the value of equity at the start of the year, and that's number that we take from the balances, and based on that we will calculate the required incomes, and we take the comprehensive income minus the required income, and we will get the residual incomes. Yeah, so that is the step that we will take to calculate the residual income from for year 1 to year 5 based on the financial statement that we have already.
Great. Okay. Anyone else want to contribute anything in more detail? If you want to, it's a chance for you all to refresh your memory. You can clarify, you can raise questions, you can give any comment. Anyone? Sorry, my battery, I need to charge it. Okay, so so far how many valuation approaches we have done? Can I have someone else answer? How many valuation approaches? Come on, who can answer? Who can answer it?
I think there are about three approach. And there is the discounted cash flow analysis, the comparable company, and precedent transactions.
Sorry. Yes. Can you say louder?
Yeah, I remember there's about 3 approaches.
Mhm.
The first one is the discounted cash flow. The second is the comparable, and the final one is the precedent transaction.
Residual, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Hằng. Anyone want to compliment? Want to add more insight? So far, if in that order, then we must have done the DCF. We must have done the comparable. Did we? Can I have your result? Can I have the results of the 3 approaches? And which one gives you Starbucks the higher value, highest, and which one give the lowest? Which approach have the lowest value and what have the highest one? And when can we use which approach, which method?
Okay, so we will present that the second approach that we have calculated for Starbucks case, that is like discounted cash flows for the previous sessions. No, in here. Yes, in here. So in here, that's we calculate based on the cash flow for common equities. I'm sorry, my laptop is running low of battery, so can anyone from my group continue the presentations because I have to find the charger right now. Thong, could you help me to continue the presentation? Thank you.
Who is that? Thong.
I'm sorry, but I have a problem with my health. That I got some symptom like the COVID-19. So
that's all right. Hope you will get well soon. How are you now? You can help Cường to present something or not?
So I will try my best to present our group presentations. So I think that there is four technique for us to evaluate the company. So the first one is the dividend-based approach, and the second one is the free cash flow, and the third one is about the earning based approach, and the last one that we have mentioned, and the last one is about the market comparable. So so as you can see on the screen here, we have already conduct three methods. So I can say this is for the free cash flow for the common equity, and
Okay, thank you, Thuận. So I will continue our group presentation. So about the free cash flow from a common equity. So actually that is like the same for the presentation from previous groups who have presented from the previous class. So at first, that for the free cash flow from common equities, we have to calculate the net cash flows into financial assets. And in here, I'm sorry, the free cash flow. So at first that we have to calculate that number. So in here is that for change, we have to get the number of net cash flows from operations, and we take this account from the statement of cash flow. In this sheet, yeah, in here we have project the statement of cash flow, and then we take that number into the account for the statement of cash flow, and we ask decrease or increase cash required for operating. So that is the net change in cash, and we take that number from the statement of cash flow also. This method is mainly based on the statement of cash flow because this is mainly about cash. So that's why all the number we got from the statement of cash flow, and we take the numbers. And net cash flow from investing also, and net cash flow into debt financing. That either add cash inflow from due borrowing or suggest cash outflow for prepayments of short and long-term interest-bearing debt. So we take the numbers also, and we have the net cash flow per stock and non-controlling interest. However, based on our forecast, we have, because based on the previous year, we have seen that for the stock for non-controlling interest, we see that negative income from that amount. So that is when we forecast that company will do not invest in that account anymore. So that's why that's in here we have the zero number. And once again, that form a statement of cash flow. And with just the sum, we take the free cash flow from the common equities, and we take the number of cost of equity that which we have calculated before in the requirement tools. And in that we will we calculate the present value factor, which the number with the formulation here, and the present value free cash flow. We calculate the present value free cash flow, and we take the sum. We take the sum, and also we check the present value of continued value, which to calculate if that the company firm continue to generate cash flow from the next years in the years. So what is the continued value for and present value of that? And we check the total, and we check the mid-year adjustment or mid-year accounting discounting, and we check the total present value free cash flow to equity, and we divide to the share outstanding, and we have the estimated value per share. And once again, we compare with the current share price, and we compute the percent difference. So in here we can see that is around minus 2.16%, and that is like very small compared to the, for example, that compared to the earnings residual. So that is quite yeah, the difference is like less than the earning residual. Yeah, and from that we do the same for the free cash flow for all of debt and equity also. And however, the percent difference is very significantly. In here we can see that is negative 38.65%. So that means based on that, we think that is quite like we're quite confident with the result of the based on the free cash flow from common equity, because somehow we think that's because as we handle that form of residual incomes, that could be like the result do not reflect the real value of the cash that the company receives, and also especially that receive for the equities that is like directly for the shareholder. So somehow that we think that's the best method compared to the residual income between the zero income and the discounted cash flow. We think that is quite like is more confident with the result with the free cash flow for common equity. Yeah. So that is like the second method for the valuation of the stable company.
Very good. Everyone, I feel like this class only group 2 works. What if I give group 2 the highest mark and the other group just average, just medium? What if I do that, everyone? Because I feel like you didn't show me your progress. You should show me something. At least show me what you learned, what you have worked so far. And don't be afraid of raising question, and don't be asking something like showing that you don't know it. Because what you know, maybe someone else don't know, and vice versa. Right? So if you ask questions, someone will appraise you, applaud you quietly. They may thank you for asking those questions. Yeah. So if only me raise question, then I just guess what is important to you, what is the most trouble. I just want to signify that. But how about you or yourself? What do you say? Just raise your question, okay? And have contribution. Anyone? Okay, for me, when you do each method, you need to understand what information you use, okay? You need to be aware of that. It's just like you need to understand the method, understand the information by which when you jump into the result, you will not be surprised. You will understand, okay, why this method have higher value? Why? Because of this, because of that. Okay? So it just like a doctor, when doctor say, okay, you are like that because you did this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when you understand yourself, when you understand the scenario, when you understand the data, then you are not surprised with the result. Everything has a reason, including the result. Okay, so in this case, when you use the estimation, remember you have forecast before, right? To use the forecast, you use your assumption. And remember, those assumptions, those forecasts may affect the result. Okay? Because it spent for a few fortnights already, right? We meet each other only every fortnight, and we may not remember. Even myself, when I did this, I may have done long time ago, or even I review it, but then I review it far away from the session that occurs. So I can't remember the trick. I can't remember the sensitiveness of that, right? I can't remember what is the important assumption or the main point that I put in the forecast. Okay, so I just give you some basic feeling that you need to be aware of. And remember, if you don't remember, whenever you jump into that, you just make note immediately. And it also the way when you do the valuation of the property, because you use the assumption and you use method ABC, right? So this method, you use this assumption. because of that, you have this result. So each method, you will see that method A, you have this much, method B, you have this, method C, you have this, and why it is higher, why it is lower. And also you will have a range from lowest to highest, right? And if you are a potential buyer, you will try to buy, say, at the lowest price. And you may not, you try not to pay at the highest price. Remember that you will always bargain from the lowest point, and the seller will bargain from the highest point. All right. So in the end, you will move toward to the point where the seller and the buyer see each other. Okay. And also, as a valuer, you will have to put in the say in the notice or assumption reminder that you have made this assumption, right? So you can give this awareness to your customer, to your client, that we have this assumption. So when the assumption is violated, is changed, scenario change, then what will happen? For the sensitivity analysis, you will have to change something. So you may need to use, say, data analysis, sensitivity analysis. Okay, you can use that either from Excel or from other package that you use. Okay, just use that and make use of anything that you can you have available. Use that and make it as accurate as possible, so that your in the evaluation report you will also declare that you have used which method, you have used which financial package or data or say analysis package. Okay, so it will also clarify and examine yourself. Okay, especially when the client or someone who use your result, they can clarify themselves, so that you will be exempt from future any conflict in the future. Okay. But normally they will give you a range of the data, the range of the valuation, etc. In terms of a simple, say, they call appraisal. Say, for example, we say that property valuation, which is a high level of the science report, right? You can see that in the valuation, you have to use lots of information, lots of analysis, etc. But in, say, appraisal, you can see we use the term appraisal, say property appraisal, when that is, say, an agent, they don't do much like you do. Like, say, a bank, they don't do much like you do. They only collect the data. They only use data that is available. Say, for example, the sale history, right? And the time on the market. Say, for example, they use, say, in the region. I'm talking about the property, right? Say in the region, they will say that in this city, in this district, for example, how long the property will be clear from the time they are listed in the market to the time the transaction is settled, right? So they call that the time market, in the market. If a property is taking too much time to be sold, then that is also a factor. Say for example, if the seller try to sell at higher price, the seller doesn't want to discount, right? To discount the price. Then at that time, the property is just listed longer than the other property. Who seller say, okay, I just want to sell it so fast. So they have to reduce the price a little bit. So that one factor is time on the market and the price history. Say for example, during say 1 year, property average or medium property price from what price to what price. Okay, they only use those information, and they also use the say the price say per bed. Say for example, if a property say 3 bed, then how much? 2 beds, then how much, right? So they use some very basic and very common information. That is what, any company, any property company, any bank can collect that data easily. Yeah. And they don't do deep analysis, say how is the age, how is the quality of a property. They may not do that in detail, right? They just collect those information, and then they say, okay, based on our information, our data, then the property may be ranging from this price to this price, the lowest price to the highest price based on their information. And by which that is we call the house appraisal, not the house valuation. For valuation, you will see that we do lots of calculation, like you just mentioned. Say based on the DCF, based on the free cash flow, based on the past, the future potential market, etc. Right. So we have a few extra additional method to elaborate our valuation figure. Okay. And that is my opinion. Anyone who want to ask or raise question or comment? Okay, can I ask how progress is your property project? What progress is it? How is your progress so far? Okay, can I ask group 1? Can I ask group 1?
Currently is looking into 2 different methods. We were trying to do income stream as you have introduced to us last session. And we are also doing comparables. So please wait a moment. We're gonna share our work to you.
What is your subject property?
It's please wait a moment. We'll share the full thing for you so that you can see.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Yeah, please wait a moment. We are sharing our screen.
Okay.
Sorry. So this is the main property. Okay, this is the main property that we are evaluating. Is the Gem Riverside. The location is over here. We had a little map over here as well. It's a property type of it's a luxury resort apartment complex, and the acreage it covers is 67,000 square meters. Has 12 blocks. Each blocks are 30 to 34 story high individually. And it has a total of 3,171 apartments, including these numbers below. So this is the main project. And we are trying to evaluate the rental apartments in this particular resort. And we also trying to do comparables. Okay, so here we have, okay. So we have a few comparables that you can see here. We've checked for them. The type of apartment that we want to evaluate is the 2-bedroom apartment. So we found these comparables to compare with our main project.
Okay. Is that all?
Other sections are other members' part. So if I present, it would be not as detailed. So we are waiting for another presenter. Please wait a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, Phương. I will have my opinion on this, and every other group, you will also pay attention on the first part, because I think that it lay the ground, the solid ground on your report regarding to the collecting data, right? I think that the data your group one collect, I think, is good already. Basically, but I expect that you will put more, especially in the report. Say, for example, it's not only about say the number of beds, say the function, the similarity feature of the comparable property. It is also say about the other feature, say the traffic. Say, have you ever been to those comparable properties? How do you feel, right? Because if you are doing the property, the visiting the site is also important. If you have gone there, what is your feeling? And say other feature, say like for example the recreational facilities, park, shopping, convenience store, school, securities, anything, right? The more comparable stuff, the more information about that, it will raise more, say, awareness in terms of valuation, similarity among the subject property. And also the age, and do you have the value, the price of the comparable property as well? I guess that, yeah, I guess that you already have. That's why you list them there. And also, if you have, say, are they say finished in same years or how many years? And say, do you what is the suburb, right? What is the region? Say for example, they all are similar property, yeah, similar project, but one say project, the subject project, the subject project is in a region, is in a suburb where there are many apartments compared with another project, still not many apartments. Then you will see the competitive competition, right? Say for example, if you will also have to analyze the impact of that. The impact of that, say, if in this district there are so many, say, high standard, high-end property apartment compared with the other district, not many. Then what is the impact? Will it make the it is more competitive and more wanted property than the other subject or not? And say the distance to the central city, all right? Any bonus one to the subject property, right? So if you make a list, the column, what is the relevant point? Okay, so it is a negative or positive impact, right? Then you can have the final adjustment. Okay. So that is, and also I assume that when you use what method, you already decide information availability, data availability. Okay. Don't use what method that you don't have a solid data. Okay. Thank you, group one. So can I have another group? Come on, this is your chance to improve your project before you officially submit it. Cường.
Okay, so we will present our progress so far. So actually, this a point that I want to mention that because of the first project that we intend to implement in the Chamilton from Tan Thành Công in District 5, that is the Chamilton Dragonite. However, after research, we have explored that they meet some problem with the legality and they could not giải tỏa. Yes, yeah. They still two citizen area that they could not buy, but so that we change we change our project to a new project, and that's the sorry and the project that we want to choose, that is the Opals Boulevard. I do not know whether I spell the name right. And we compare with four another alternatives comparable. That is the Flora Novia, Himland Phú Đông, Moonlight Residence, Phú Đông Premier. We based on the two logics. At first, that is they in the same area, so it means that they near to each other, and it is around in Dĩ An and Thủ Đức, and the distance is like less than 3 kilometers apart. So it means that they have the quite the same neighborhood. And the second point is that when we choose the comparable, that we base on the price segment. So most of that is like the average segment. So to be actual, to more accurate, that is the segment of the segment is the mid-range apartment. And for our project, they are in the process of handover, and they are still in the handover process up to now. And here's the some information that the purpose of the valuation, and we are like we will attempt to write the purpose of that, and also the background of the distance, and also the situation and location of the property description. Yeah, the map, and also the neighborhood characteristics, site description, construction detail building, and also accommodation details. We are still writing about that. And there is still some point that we mentioned in our group project so far. That is the blending and market matters. That is about some macro factors affecting the price of the Thủ Đức or Hồ Chí Minh cities. I'm sorry, about in the area around Hồ Chí Minh city or Thủ Đức. And it is like some information about the GDP, CPIs, and also the infrastructure in Thủ Đức city also. And also some information about some important roads that they have opened so far. And we also analyze about the population growth, and also the income and wage also. Yeah. And after that, about the methods that we want to apply. So we tend to apply two methods. So at first, the first method is about the comparable. So here's the table of price that we have collected so far. In here, here's the table of price that we have collected so far from the comparable. So about the type of the room, and also the square meter square, and also the price also for that with our project so far. And here's like the table of the comparable about the type, construction aggregate, and apartment aggregates, the status, and also the utilities on the type of ownership that we have made a list. So we will use that type of utility for the comparison, because we will base on us the utilities to have the comparison between the comparable. Yeah. And the construction unit also. Yeah. And he's like it is just a detailed map. Yeah. And the second method that we tend to apply, that is the cost method. So we are in the progress of calculating the aggregate of the project, and based on that, we are still researching some type of cost to make the to make the real estate projects based on the land cost, and also the building cost also. Yeah. And we base on this paper to to collect the data and to estimate from the cost model method. Yeah. So so that is our progress so far.
That's good. Can I also remind you all that whenever you choose the method, what method and what information, and you also give some explanation, some convince to make your information, to make your choice more solid. Yeah. Say for example, you choose say the cost price the cost method, then you need to give some explanation why you do that. What is the reason? What convince you? What you will convince reader that it is relevant to the value? Why? Yeah. Say for example, if you say that I want to mention the investor, I want to mention the developer, because the developer, if they are the foreign, the international developer, then they have more better reputation in terms of their project management, in terms of their best quality of the design and construction quality, something like that. So you give more explanation and reason why you choose so. Also, if you want to use, say for example, you say that I want to use the macro and micro factor, so why it is relevant to the value. Okay, and say also you compare the distance. So what does distance mean here? Say distance mean, say for example, distance to the facility, distance to the convenience store, distance to the recreational center. Say for example, if you convince that people from, say, from Bình Dương, where do they usually go? They go to the to District 1, or they go to say what is the what's their proximity, and what is the relevant, the goodness that you want to make positive impact. Okay, so whatever point you want to use, then you give the relevant and the bonus, the negative or positive impact on value that you evaluate. Okay, so also say the ecosystem, the natural system, what is the attractiveness of the location of the property, etc. It is just like you want to analyze something, then you give it high mark because of what? Okay. Any other question?
Teacher, I have a question about because I think that you have mentioned about the valuation rationale. So about the method, so we tend to use the based on the theory. So it means that based on some research paper, they have proved that the cost model method and also the market comparable is useful for evaluate the real estate project. So is it okay in this situation that means that we was based on the theories? Yeah.
Yes, you can say that if the theory, then you can mention some of the research. For example, research or theory by who? Okay, you can't just say by theory. Theory, what is particular theory? Yeah, say for example, even when you reason, you use your own reason. You say also this argument is supported by blah blah blah, by previous study, or yeah, if you use reference, then your argument is more significant, yeah, more convinced than the other people. Other research just say by my argument without any support. You can also say that the cost is the base one, because normally the project, they will decide the price from the cost value plus how many % of the profit, and that is the initial price. of course, say if a property developer complete that project in the market downturn, right? Then they have to do more, say, for example, promotion. They have to reduce the price. They have to do something else to get it clear from the market. Okay, so technically they have to cut their profit as well. But basically, they will based on the cost plus proportion of the profit. Okay. Yes. Any other question? And how about other group? I want to hear group 3. Anyone in group 3 here? Nhiên, are you in group 3?
No, I'm in group 5.
Do you how is your progress report?
We're at the beginning of the project. Okay. I will show.
Sure.
Yes. Yes. So the beginning of what the table content of our projects, it's basically the purpose is that our team want to evaluate a real estate project in District 9, Thủ Đức City, because we believe that currently the establishment of the new district, like the new cities at Thủ Đức City, will affect the price, and there will be opportunities, also challenges for investor in the real estate industry in this area. They will include many parts. One of the important parts that we're working on is we write out the scope, the purpose of the report. We haven't finished that yet, but we have chose the methodologies for our evaluation. We choose a market analysis. We use comparable real estate because we want to find the real market value of our project, which is the Class CS at District 9 from investor Khang Dien Group. And we try to do another method is the cost model approach, because we believe that is what the investor cost to build up the project. So we looked up from the perspective of a buyer, an investor. The cost model approach will give us the result for the minimum price, and the market value, the market analysis result will give us maybe the maximum value when we try to do negotiation in the transactions when we invest or buy a real estate in this place. We have chosen the comparables which have the two most significant characteristics has to be in the same district. And the second thing is going to be in the same real estate type. Here is villas and townhouse. Other information we have collected for our comparables is the size, the property status, the legal handover date, and the utilities and facility, also the construction units. We haven't had any reason why we want to clarify, why we mention about those factors. It's like you said before, why we have to mention about the legal, why we have to mention about the constructor unit. We haven't have that kind of we haven't worked on that things. Yes. Other stuff we are doing is company and property description, and the industry overview is related to property demand and market growth, the price, the factors that influence here, and the property situation and prospect in the location. We are doing that, so we just like in the beginning of doing this thing. Yes. So like, can I have questions, teacher?
Yep.
Yes. Like we know that after as what our group research about market comparable analysis, we will have the price here, the price per meter for each of the comparables properties, and after we have that, we will have an adjustment, price adjustment based on the difference between the chosen real estate and the other. So there will be a list of factors that will be set as the category for adjustment. For example, like if a place they have a gym inside the real estate, there will be a plus. So if our chosen real estate doesn't have a gym and the comparable real estate they have a gym, we have to like decrease. They'll have a decrease in the price of the chosen comparable, so that it will near the price we want to evaluate. But I don't know how can we calculate the weight for each of the factors. Yeah, yes. Then I don't know, is that
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this, you better list out all the factor that is affected. Say among those comparable property that have a price. Say, for example, I just take example, right? Say we have Microsoft, we have Apple, we have Dell, we have blah, 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 right? And all of them are, you know, are public. So you have the price of them, right? Yes. So similarly, here for the property, you say you have 3 property, even you have more. The more you have, the better you can calculate each factor value. Say, for example, from property 1 to property 2, the price is different, right? You have the price different. And what is the difference in function? Say, you try to find 2 property that are the most similar. The less different, then you can find out the difference in value. Say two property exactly the same, just a little bit different, say in gym, in the pool, etc. Then you can find out the value of having a gym, the value of having a pool, a value of, say, easy approach to the center, etc. Okay, so from which you say that, okay, from this calculation, yeah, I have the value of having a gym this much, having a pool is this much. Okay. So they normally use the statistic. If you go to check the other website, especially the property company, they already collected all of those things. Otherwise, you can find out yourself by that. The more properties you collected, the better, more accurate value of each facility. Say gym, how much to have a gym, how much in value. Of course, if you have a private gym or private pool, it is easy to calculate, right? In a private home, but say it is a common facility, common function, then you just calculate the value of getting access on that is how much.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Similar to any other function.
Yes.
Any other question?
Not yet so far. And I see is there a guest speaker in the room?
Just list on the feature that is relevant to value.
Yeah.
Any function that affect the value. If you feel that you would love that factor, then that factor should be in the valuation. Should be. Okay, say proximity to something, having something, or doesn't have something.
Yes.
It should be affected. Or even, you know, like if too many apartments, does it affect the price or not? Right? You can say, for example, if someone say that before I already pay that price, but now another apartment suddenly built up, yeah, and it affect the vision, the view of the apartment. So does it a negative point or not? So you need to analyze that as well. Of course, it is up to your adjustment. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Can I ask something?
Yep.
So when we are valuing our Gem Riverside, we cannot find the progress yet. So do we have to like put the prestige into our report? Prestige of the project into the report?
Actually, you sometimes it's very easy. You can just make a call to the you know, to that project, to that developer. They love to answer you. You just say either you are a potential investor or you are a student or whoever. Sometimes when I say that I'm interested in their you know, project, then they love to tell you. And if you show interest in their property, then they will give you more information, say when it started and when it is about to finish, and when you can move in, blah, blah, blah. You have a lot of information. By the way, I also remind you all, if you get the data of the cost, because you use the cost-based method, so the cost information should also clarify where you have that information. Yeah, say from statistic or from the developer website of how you can make sure that those data are reliable. Okay, because rubbish in, rubbish out. If you use the poor reliable information, then your valuation may not be good, well reliable either. Okay. Do I answer your question? And if you have other question, please just raise.
Thank you. Got it.
That's good. Who else? Any other group have the question or your progress? group 3, group 4.
So, okay, I will show you our form teacher.
Sure.
When for me.
Oh,
yes.
is guest speaker in? Yes, Mr.
Yes,
Hoàng Anh.
yes, I am.
Sorry, I didn't know. How long have you been here?
Not a long time. Sorry, I'm on the way.
Oh, hi. So I think that group 4, we will okay, delay, yeah, your progress report now, so that let's have a big welcome, Mr. Hoàng Anh. So can you please introduce yourself and also give some insight information before student can give you some question. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to your class. Okay. My name is Hoàng Anh. I'm an investment manager of Đức Sun Group. Yeah, I also get a certificate of Ministry of Finance, and I also have 9 years in the valuation field and also investment field. And now I work for Đức Sun Group maybe for 4 years. And if you have any question about investment and valuation, I can give you the practice. What we did in the practice, other things related to property or business valuation or other things. That's all. That's all. I have no insight.
Okay. Anyone start first question? Okay. While we are waiting for student question, can I ask you to give an overview of the evaluation report? What do you prepare and how do you get it done?
I also work for a valuation company for 5 years, and I did a lot of few business valuation. I also get equipment valuation and real estate valuation, and also brand valuation. Yeah. I think if you learn the valuation, you need to learn about you need to read about the Vietnam valuation standard. Vietnam have also 13 valuation standard. You need to read it, and it will show you how to do a report step by step. Yeah. I will show you how to make a valuation about the real estate, maybe real estate view, real estate report. Real estate, you also have a lot of small view. It's mean project, land lot, a lot of things. Also a lot of things. So I will show you the land lot. It's very easy to understand, and also easy to following me. Okay, this is the easiest way. It's a land lot, just only a house. The first thing you need to read about the land use right certificate of that land, and you understand. You need to understand about the land purpose of that property. That's the basic thing for you to choose the comparable assets. You have to choose the same land use right purpose to choose. That's the comparable asset for you. At least you need to find 3, like at least 3 the same, and then you come to side that that your land, and then you check about the planning of that land. Okay, it means you have to know about the government will allow you to do what in your land or in your property. It's a part a lot of about it's a part a lot of your valuation. Yeah. And then you will check around surround a lot of benefits or like hospital, school, and a lot of things, a lot of amenity about the value. And then just only that's the easy way you do about comparable methods. Okay, then you have to ask about asking price or transaction price about three comparable assets, and then you deduct the value of construction on that land. Then you have a value of the land, and then you will adjust something is different from your comparable asset and your property, and you adjust the different, and then you have maybe a lot of adjustment, and then you will have the final value of three comparable, and then you to make a average of them, you have a final value of your land. That is the easy way for a house or a land lot. We rarely use the income approach, income approach, maybe like DCF or a residential method. Residential method, a lot of things. You know that residential method, phương pháp thẳng dư. That method just only apply for the government who want to know the value of that land to let the investor to let it out. It's quite complicated. Quite complicated.
Like super profit. When you talk about a residual income, you mean?
Yeah. Like DCF discovery, the income approach. You have a lot of method in there. So I say, yeah. Maybe I think you can read in the Vietnamese standard.
So you don't use the DCF, you use only comparable method, you mean?
Yeah, yes, we just only use that for the small land lot with a project. You have to use an income approach. We never or we rarely use the comparable method for a project. We have to use, and we also just use income approach. Then we also use residential, super profit. Maybe I don't know what we call in English.
Yeah, I got what you mean. So you mean the residual income is only when you want to assess the super profit. What you say? Ordinary profit, right? I rarely use that term as well. So anyone want to clarify what Mr. Hoàng Anh just said? So you mean that when we do the comparable method, you will, of course, we have to use the comparable one from, say, from the land entitlement. Similar for the apartment as well. There will be different entitlement for the apartment. So that is the first very important, so that you can make assessment of value of the land price, right? So you minus the land price from the say the market price. Is it right? And then you got the cost, say of the net price from the land price, because you assume that land at different region will have different price.
Yeah.
Okay, so the balance will be the construction and what? The value of the building. Is it right? I just try to clarify this to the student. And student, please also clarify yourself how it works.
Sorry, you are asking me, huh?
Yeah. I try to clarify that.
I mean, you want to know your land price. You have to ask about the same asset. Same asset have also construction and land. Yeah. Example, for example, you have a house in 1122 Nam Kỳ Khởi Nghĩa. Yes, and you want to know what is the value of that house.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and then you will go and you find out on the same purpose land or the same purpose house on that road, and then you find out three house. Example, 100 Nam Kỳ Khởi Nghĩa, and it had a asking price 100 billion Vietnam dong, and then you deduct the construction value is something you have to you calculate from the market price. For example, you ask for a constructor, how that's price, that's how many, that's how I can, you have to have the price, the unit price of a construction, and then you deduct the value of construction, and then you have a land value of that comparable asset, and then you adjust the difference between two assets, and then you will have your final asset from the comparable asset, and you do the same thing for at least three properties.
Okay, got it. Anyone want to raise question or want to have further questions regarding to this? That, yes.
I had a question that as the case mentioned before, the values of the land will be impacted by the community utility. For example, the land will need the supermarket, for example. So can I ask you how can we value it? It means what is the benchmark to value it? For example, if the land is near the supermarket, for example, so how many, for example, near the supermarket will increase the price of this land to 10 million per meter, for example. So can we have a benchmark or just make a assumption for it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. You can do it by the same thing. You choose the two comparable, and then they just only have two different, one factor different. That is one house that they need a supermarket, and one house is not here need a supermarket, and then you have the land price of two, and that you have the asking price of them, and then you just only divide it, and you have the different, and you have to choose. You have to choose, and then you have to find out two assets that only have one factor different near the supermarket or not. Just that's all, and then you need to find three pairs, and then you will withdraw the percentage of that factor. That is the theoretical, like very theoretical, but in practice we haven't, we rarely use that. We just only can find out one or two pairs. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just raise question, even with An or Mỹ Hằng.
Thank you. I want to ask one question, because in order for us to do our valuation report, that we need your construction progress for the James Riverside of Dutchson Group.
Okay.
And we cannot find any website or information about the construction progress. So how can we prove that the apartment should be delivered to the residents on time as proposed?
Okay. Oh, okay, good. Thank you for your good question. Because as I rarely tell about the project, because project we have three legal. You need to understand three legal. First is the land legal. Land legal, is the land use right certificate, and also a lot of things about land. And then the second is the company that owner that land or owner that project. The legal of the company, and the third is the legal of the project. The legal of project is three legal for one project. Three legal you need to know. So just only one of them have a different have a difficult. So the project will stop. We cannot deliver on time as you want, and the difficult and also tell you the difficult also happen in the project legal. As you know, maybe it has a master plan, master plan, and a lot of things, blah 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 blah, a lot of things to have a construction license. If a investor have a construction or a project have a construction license, the project can build on time. But if investor don't have enough money, it's also done. Also cannot deliver on time. So all the thing you put in your model is also your I forgot the terms. It's also your assumption. Yeah, that's also based on your assumption, and your assumption is no difficult in legal. That's all. And you want to know what is the difficult, you need to ask the investor, the investment department like me. I will show you with time you need to adjustment in your model to have the final valuation is the more good or more valuable.
Thank you. So if you are not sure, in your opinion, how many years would be the project? Would the project be late, like the maximum years?
No maximum, because I am the one who buy the project is stop for my company. So a lot of investor give me their project, and it's also maybe something 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, also 10 years, or 20 years, a lot of things, and they don't have enough financial time, finance to
to complete the
show
project.
to show the legal difficult. That legal difficult. The legal is very important. Also, the money to build the construction is not the problem, because you can take from your clients, you sell to the customer, you know, and you can earn and you can take their money to build that construction. But the problem here is not from the money, just only from the legal difficult. They cannot solve. So then they stop for 20 years.
Okay,
How
thank you,
long?
Mr.
Yes. How long is delay belong to the what kind of the difficult of legal? Too many things. Too many things.
Okay, so I think that maybe we need to make some assumptions here. So thank you, Mr. Hong.
Yes, you have to. Yeah, you have to make the assumption, and you write down very clearly in your valuation report.
Okay, and my group has chose your one project of Đất Xanh, which is the open bowlet in Bình Dương, and we know that it is near Thủ Đức, which is recently become a city now. So we think that the land price will be increased, and we know that it will increase, but we don't know exactly how much. So is there any way for us to calculate the exact number of that increase?
Sorry, your question, the increase of
land price.
That's what you mean, okay? Or something. Sorry,
Can I speak in English? Can I speak in Vietnamese?
Okay, good. You can
Là
hear any word.
tụi em đã chọn một cái dự án ở bên công ty Đất Xanh đó anh, là cái dự án Opon ở bên Bình Dương á, nhưng mà cái khu đó là ngay dự án Bình Dương thì nó gần ngay Thủ Đức á anh, mà Thủ Đức thì mới lên thành phố gần đây, thì em nghĩ là đất ở cái khu dự án đó nó sẽ tăng giá, nhưng mà không biết chắc chắn là nó sẽ tăng bao nhiêu, thì mình có cách nào để xác định không?
Oh, you asked about the future. Okay. I can tell you exactly three terms you need to know. First, a real estate increase the value when they have a new, you know, a new that something will build near that. Also, I can tell you long time airports or something else. You know, the facility of there around that land is going to build or built when it's on the going to build, or it's also have not just only information or only news. So the broker will have important role in putting the land price going down. So the broker is who either directly doing that. So we cannot calculate because it belongs to the future, and we cannot never I can tell you I cannot tell you just you have expected price. You know, many small investors want to buy the land near my project like that to they know that they expecting the land price will increase, but I cannot tell you what exactly will, because it belongs to future, and I just can tell you the base the theoretical to calculate or estimate that expectation. This also belong to expectation. Which expectation you expect how many it will nearly or something. It's kind of I can give you an example. Hello, Miss Kim. Can I you visit me, because I think I can you visit me.
Oh yes, I think now it's up to maybe you and student both feel more comfortable to exchange in Vietnamese. Then for the students' sake, we will do so.
Ok. Dùng tiếng Anh đi, dùng tiếng Việt cho nó dễ, tại vì ra lâu quá không có dùng tiếng Anh. Vì anh nói thế này, không phải là mình không thể mình định giá được cái tăng nó trong tương lai đâu, vì giống như là nó thuộc về kỳ vọng của mỗi người. Giả sử một cái dự án anh mua bên đó thì tất cả cái đất xung quanh đó nó sẽ tăng giá, và mình tăng bao nhiêu thì mình không biết, cái phụ thuộc vào cái gọi là cái bên thứ ba là bên môi giới họ đẩy giá bao nhiêu, và những cái người mà họ sẽ dự kiến mua lân cận đó họ kỳ vọng giá ở đó bao nhiêu, và cái kỳ vọng nó cũng không có ai kiểm chứng và cũng không ai biết bao nhiêu, rằng họ theo cái nhận định của họ rằng nó sẽ tăng bao nhiêu đó. Giống như em mua chứng khoán, em sẽ dự định rằng là công ty đó sẽ giá chứng khoán sẽ tăng lên như đó, nhưng em chẳng có cái thông tin, hoặc là em sẽ có một vài cái cơ sở để em tính toán là nó sẽ tăng như đó thôi. Còn cái phương pháp tính toán của mình thì tốt nhất là em nên dùng phương pháp thặng dư như nãy nó, hoặc là phương pháp cái cách tiếp cận thu nhập đó, để em dự kiến là sau này cái chỗ đó em sẽ thuê được, và giá thuê lúc đó nó sẽ là bao nhiêu đó một tháng, bao nhiêu đó một tháng, thì cứ đúng theo cái đó em tính ra dòng tiền thu trong tương lai, rồi em trừ cái dòng chi của em trong đây, rồi em trừ luôn cái chi phí đầu tư ban đầu, em sẽ ra được cái chênh lệch và em ra được cái giá trị của em định giá lại, thì em nên mua nó mức giá bao nhiêu. Ví dụ như em định giá theo cái phương pháp tăng trong tương lai đó thì ví dụ như bây giờ cái đó chả làm được cái gì, nhưng sau đó em sẽ đầu tư, em xây một cái công trình lên đó, một cái văn phòng gì đó ở gần cái khu đó, hoặc là em một cái bệnh viện hay một khách sạn hay cái gì đó, thì sau này em xây xong như vậy em tốn bao nhiêu chi phí đầu tư, em rải nó dòng tiền như thế, rồi em tính ra cái dòng thu mỗi kỳ đó bao nhiêu đó, thì sau đó em trừ cái dòng thu đi, xong em chiết khấu nó về thời điểm hiện tại, sau đó em so sánh với cái giá hiện tại người ta đang chào, đúng không? Em lấy hai cái đó chênh lệch ra thì em sẽ là cái kỳ vọng của em thôi. Đó là cái phương pháp định ra đúng nhất. Còn cái việc mà thật ra có rất nhiều về bất động sản, rất nhiều cái trường hợp là bị ảo giá, và cái giá nó lớn hơn rất nhiều so với cái giá trị thật của nó. Tức là khi em định giá bằng cái phương pháp đó em dự kiến là sau này sẽ thuê được bao nhiêu đó, thì em chiết khấu về hiện tại em sẽ ra được giá trị đúng theo nguyên tắc đúng, định giá đúng nó là vậy. Và có thể cái giá hiện tại người ta cũng chào cao hơn tại cái giá mà em định giá theo cách đó nữa cơ, thì như vậy đó là gọi là giá trị ảo rồi. Như vậy anh nghĩ là em không nên tham giá. Còn cách định giá tốt nhất là em định giá theo cái phương pháp em đã học, cứ đúng theo đó, dự án dòng tiền dòng thu dòng chi gì đó, rồi trong tương lai là em chiết khấu về hiện tại. Chắc chắn là cái dòng thu dòng chi của em phải định giá theo kiểu là lúc đã có cái hạ tầng đó thì cái giá mà thu chi đó sẽ tốt hơn bây giờ. Ok, any question?
Dạ anh ơi, anh cho em hỏi là lúc nãy anh có đề cập là anh hiếm khi xài income approach, vậy thì anh có thể cho tụi em biết là tại sao nó có cái bất lợi gì khi mà dùng cái approach đó không ạ?
Không phải bất lợi, mà thực ra như thế này, có nghĩa là nãy đang nói đó, thực ra là anh muốn, tại vì tụi em đang là sinh viên hả? Sinh viên đúng không?
Dạ đúng ạ.
Thì tức là tụi em đang là sinh viên thì anh không muốn nói tại vì tụi em sẽ bị rối. Có nghĩa là thực tế tụi em sẽ đối mặt với rất nhiều, nếu như em làm trong một công ty thẩm định giá thì em sẽ đối mặt với rất nhiều tài sản, và anh phân loại cho tụi em thấy rằng là đối với vội và riêng về bất động sản không thôi, là em có thể chia thành rất nhiều loại. Ví dụ như là bất động sản nhà phố, và bất động sản dự án nè, rồi bất động sản du lịch thương mại gì lùm la đó, nó tùm rất là nhiều. Thì anh phân loại đó thành bất động sản nhà phố đi, giả sử nó là nhà phố thì anh thường, thực tế người ta cũng vậy, và công ty thẩm định giá người ta cũng sẽ dùng phương pháp là phương pháp so sánh thôi, vì nó dễ làm và nó ít tốn thời gian, và cái phí của nó cũng không bao nhiêu, đúng không? Cái phí mà một cái bất động sản nó cũng cho khách hàng nó cũng không có bao nhiêu hết á, thành ra là người ta sẽ dùng cái phương pháp đó nhanh hơn và ít tốn công sức hơn. Còn phương pháp thu nhập, đối với cách tiếp cận thu nhập đối với với nhà phố nhỏ như vậy thì thường người ta không sử dụng. Còn đối với dự án thì người ta buộc phải sử dụng là cái cách tiếp cận thu nhập, bởi vì cái dự án em làm bằng cái so sánh thì nó không bao giờ em tìm được một cái dự án khác cũng có một cái gọi là có khả năng so sánh được đâu. Vì giả sử anh nói ví dụ một dự án của anh là 1 hectare, nhưng nãy anh nói rồi đó, bản thân em làm về đất đai, em làm về định giá bất động sản, em phải biết về luật đất đai luôn. Thì khi mà luật đất đai thì em phải biết về cái mục đích sử dụng đất. Em sẽ đất để cho em là gọi là đất ở đi, thì em dùng cái đó để em xây chung cư được, em xây nhà phố nhà nhỏ được. Còn đất mà gọi là đất thương mại dịch vụ thì em chỉ dùng cái đó để em xây được cái khách sạn thôi, hoặc resort thôi, đúng không? Còn đất ví dụ cơ sở sản xuất kinh doanh thì em chỉ dùng đó để làm văn phòng hoặc là nhà xưởng thôi. Thì những cái loại đất khác nhau thì nó sẽ có cái giá trị khác nhau luôn, và em phải chọn cái đất của em nó tương đồng y như thế, và có quy mô cũng gần như vậy. Ví dụ đất của em là 1 hectare thì em phải kiếm miếng khác cũng phải gần 1 hectare, chứ không kiếm được 100 mét vuông để em so sánh. Mà thị trường nó chỉ có 100 mét vuông thì em dùng phương pháp so sánh đúng không ấy, với một cái dự án mà nó hoàn toàn không đúng. Còn giả sử để khi em tìm được một cái miếng đất cũng 1 hectare mà nó cũng là đất ở nha, ví dụ như vậy. Cái nó cũng là 1 hectare nhưng mà đất ở, nhưng mà giả sử hai thằng này nó có chỉ tiêu hoạch khác nhau. Nghĩa là sao? Có nghĩa là một miếng đất em còn ngoài về dự án, em còn ngoài cái miếng đất không, em còn cái pháp lý về dự án nữa. Có nghĩa là chỉ tiêu hoạch đó. Giả sử miếng đất đó em kiểm tra quy hoạch, nó cho em xây 30 tầng để em làm chung cư chẳng hạn, còn miếng kia chỉ cho em xây 15 tầng, thì có phải là trong rõ ràng là một cái miếng mà xây được 30 tầng để em xây được 1.000 căn hộ em bán, còn một miếng chỉ xây được có 15 tầng, xây được có 500 căn hộ để em bán, thì có phải là cái miếng 15 tầng nó sẽ hoàn toàn sẽ không có giá trị bằng cái miếng 30 tầng, đúng không? Thì đó, nếu em định giá project, tức là em định giá dự án, thì chắc chắn em phải xem xét tới cái đó nữa, là buộc phải dùng cái phương pháp thu nhập thôi, không ai dùng phương pháp so sánh cả. Tại vì chả bao giờ em tìm được một cái miếng gọi là một cái dự án nào hay là một cái đất nào nó tương đồng về những cái chỉ tiêu hoạch ở đâu. Vì chỉ tiêu hoạch đó mỗi chủ tư họ sẽ có cách phát triển khác nhau, và họ sẽ có một cái cách xin khác nhau, và cho nên là khi người ta xin rồi, người ta chạy pháp lý dự án rồi thì nó mới ra cái bộ chỉ tiêu đó, chứ trước đó thì nó cũng chưa có để cho em tìm để em máy định giá nó buộc vậy đó, định giá như vậy đó. Cho nên là phương pháp thu nhập nó sẽ nhìn về tương lai. Trong đó tương lai của em xây 30 tầng có một số lượng cái 1.000 căn hộ em bán từ trong bao nhiêu năm đó, em thu về em định giá chiết khấu lại những gì giá trị nó phải cao. Còn em dùng cái 15 tầng thì chẳng hạn là có 500 căn em bán xong em trừ ra chi phí rồi em ra lại cái định giá hiện tại thì nó sẽ thấp. Thì như vậy là rõ ràng là em buộc phải dùng cái income nó hay nhất và tốt nhất và dễ bảo vệ với khách hàng nhất nếu như em làm trong công ty thẩm giá. Còn nếu như em làm trong chủ tư như anh thì anh cũng phải làm như vậy thì nó mới hợp lý. Và chắc chắn khi mà anh chạy cái model á thì chắc chắn là đối với cái công ty thẩm giá người ta chỉ chạy theo năm thôi, mà đó đã chạy theo năm, anh làm 5 năm rồi, chắc chắn là chỉ chạy theo năm thôi. Và đối với chủ tư như anh hiện tại anh làm là chạy theo tháng, mỗi tháng anh chi bao nhiêu tiền, chi như thế nào, tháng nào anh làm cái gì, anh tháng nào anh bán bao nhiêu, thu tiền khách hàng như thế nào, là buộc em phải chi tiết nó từng tháng, chứ không phải là chi tiết theo năm đâu. Đó, thì này nói vậy chứ không phải mình không dùng cái income, mà income đó thật sự nếu làm thật đúng thì một người làm định giá không làm ra được cái đó đâu. Bởi vì một người làm đầu tư thì mới làm ra chuyện đó được, vì mình làm ở trong cái ngành đó, mình là người thật sự đi xây thì mình mới ra được bộ đó. Còn một người định giá bên ngoài là giống như cưỡi người xem hoa thôi, mình dùng phương pháp bình thường thì mình tính theo năm, không ai sai, không gì sai cả, thì mình áp dụng đúng theo tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá Việt Nam. Đó là lý do tại sao có hệ thẩm viên của Bộ Tài chính rồi nhưng mà không bao giờ hành nghề đó, là lý vậy đó. Khi mà em định giá xong em phải chịu trách nhiệm với kết quả đó, thì khi mà em chịu trách nhiệm kết quả đó mà em ký bậy vô đó thì em sẽ chịu trách nhiệm rất là cao về pháp lý. Đó là như vậy. Thành ra là cái đối với một cái nhà phố bình thường nó phí không bao nhiêu, người ta không dùng phương pháp đó, chứ không phải là thực tế người ta không dùng. Anh đang nói về cái thực tế thôi, thực tế người ta không dùng cái đó, vậy thôi.
Dạ
Rồi,
em có.
ok, nó có hiểu chưa hay là có thắc mắc gì nữa không?
Dạ em còn một câu hỏi muốn hỏi anh là lúc nãy em có nghe anh nói về cái phương pháp residential.
Thằng Dư.
Dạ, là anh có thể nêu một cách rõ hơn về cái bước thực hiện phương pháp này, tại vì em search Google thì em không có thấy cái term.
Bây giờ em gõ giùm anh tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá số 11. Anh không nhớ là 11 chính xác rồi. Tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá số 11 là tiêu chuẩn thẩm định giá bất động sản của Việt Nam theo thông tư 127 như vậy. Thì đó, tức là em làm trong ngành thẩm định giá là em buộc phải đọc luật. Em buộc phải đọc luật, rất nhiều luật, luật đất đai, luật giá, đúng không? Thì trong luật giá em sẽ có rất nhiều cái gọi là cái thông tư hướng dẫn. Thì trong thông tư hướng dẫn đó nó sẽ quy định những cái tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá. Trong tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá đó sẽ có quy trình để thực hiện một cái cuộc thẩm định giá như thế nào. Như tiêu chuẩn số 3, số 4 gì đó là quy định một cái mẫu báo cáo luôn, ghi rõ luôn cho em là mẫu báo cáo như thế nào, em trình bày 1, 2, 3, 4 như thế nào, và nội dung sao. Em đi khảo sát sao, em làm sao, tất cả các quy trình có đầy đủ cho nó. Và khi em làm nghề thực tế em buộc phải theo quy trình đó luôn, và em phải làm cái báo cáo em gần theo cái form đó luôn. Đó, nếu em muốn tìm hiểu về thẩm giá thì em buộc phải đọc cái bộ 13 tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá đó, đúng không? 13 cái tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá đó. Thì cái tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá mà mà số 11 đó nó sẽ quy định cái phương pháp thặng dư, và trong cái tiêu chuẩn giá cũng quy rõ cho em là em sẽ có 3 cách tiếp cận: cách tiếp cận thị trường, cách tiếp cận chi phí và cách tiếp cận thu nhập. Trong cái tiếp cận thị trường có phương pháp so sánh này kia, đối với doanh nghiệp thì là phương pháp tài sản đó, net assets, đúng không? Thì như vậy là thì nghĩa là em dựa trên cái hiện tại. Cách tiếp cận thị trường là em dựa trên hiện tại để em định giá một cái bất động sản đó, hoặc một cái doanh nghiệp, một cái tài sản mô hình, một cái thứ gì đó, dựa trên cái giá hiện tại, đúng chưa? Là giá thị trường hiện tại thì gọi là cái cách tiếp cận thị trường. Còn phương pháp chi phí có nghĩa là em dựa trên cái giá trị quá khứ, có nghĩa là giả sử em xây ra một căn nhà đó 15 tầng hay chẳng hạn, thì em bây giờ em dựa trên chi phí hiện tại, nhưng mà của 15 tầng đó có nghĩa là em gần như mình nhìn về quá khứ, nhưng mà mình chỉ cần cập nhật cái giá hiện tại thôi. Tức là cái thông số kỹ thuật là của quá khứ, nhưng mà giá là của hiện tại, hiểu không? Tức là một cách nhìn về hiện tại, cách nhìn về hiện tại, nhìn về hiện tại. Và một cái phương pháp cách tiếp cận chi phí là nhìn về quá khứ. Thì trong cách tiếp cận chi phí nó có phương pháp chi phí thay thế, chi phí tái tạo gì đó, nó rất nhiều cái phương pháp. Từ thứ ba là cách tiếp cận thu nhập. Cách tiếp cận thu nhập thì em sẽ nhìn về tương lai, có nghĩa là em định giá một cái gì đó thì em sẽ gắn cái kỳ vọng của em vào đó, thì em sẵn sàng trả cao hơn thị trường hoặc là thấp hơn thị trường, ví dụ như thế. Thì cái đó em phải có cái tin tức về cái bất động sản hoặc những cái thu vật lân cận đó. Thì khi em có những cái đó, em đã ước tính được là nếu cái đó xảy ra thì trong tương lai cái thu nhập mang đến từ bất động sản này là cái gì. Thì như vậy em mới có một cái nhìn về tương lai. Thì trong cách tiếp cận thu nhập này em sẽ có rất nhiều phương pháp, ví dụ phương pháp chiết khấu dùng tiền, phương pháp thặng dư, rồi phương pháp tầm lai gì đó, phương pháp thu nhập gì đó thì rất nhiều phương pháp. Thì em cứ đọc trong cái tiêu chuẩn đó, em cứ đọc cái tiêu chuẩn, vì nếu em làm nghề trong Việt Nam thì buộc phải đọc mấy cái đó. phải đọc luật của Việt Nam, có tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá quốc tế nha em. Có International Valuation Standard đó, em có thể đọc trong đó. Tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá quốc tế cũng chia ra y chang như vậy, nhưng mà thì đó nó bằng tiếng Anh, một cái bằng tiếng Việt thôi. Mà quốc tế Việt Nam thì nó không chi tiết bằng Việt Nam. Mình có thể nói rõ hơn cho em luôn là nếu cái discount rate nó tính như thế nào, cái tỷ lệ chiết khấu tính như thế nào, và trong trường hợp nào tính như thế nào. Ví dụ đối với một doanh nghiệp thì cái discount rate nó tính sao, và trong một trường hợp một dự án tính sao, và trong một trường hợp là một cái nhà phố hay gì đó, nếu em muốn tính thì tính như thế nào. Thì tất cả mọi cái đều nằm trong cái 13 tiêu chuẩn đó, và nếu em muốn thì cứ đọc chi tiết kỹ trong đó. Ngoài ra nếu em muốn làm chuyên sâu bất động sản thì anh có đề xuất em thêm đọc thêm một cái nữa là cái phương pháp cái thông tư số 36 năm 2014. Nó là em cứ tách nó lại. Thông tư số 36 năm 2014 nó sẽ quy định chi tiết luôn tất cả các cái phương pháp định giá như nói đó, mà nó chi tiết hơn cả cái tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá này nữa. Nghĩa là nói rõ luôn là em buộc phải lấy tỷ suất chiết khấu là phải lấy theo lãi suất ngân hàng của 4 ngân hàng tại Thành phố Hồ Chí Minh, hoặc tại ở đâu đó ở khu vực của cái bất động sản đó tọa lạc chẳng hạn. Ở đó thì thực ra anh là chị đang nói thêm về thực tế người ta sẽ đọc những cái luật đó để người ta áp dụng, đúng không? Người ta đọc những cái luật đó. Còn những gì đó ý đang nói vậy, anh đang nói những cái thực tế nha. Còn tiêu chuẩn thẩm giá quốc tế hay như thế nào đó thì có rất nhiều cái chung, và tất cả những cái anh đang nói đây nó thuộc về principle, có nghĩa là nó chỉ là nguyên lý thôi, chứ nó không phải là rules nha em nhé. Nó nằm trong luật, nhưng mà nó chỉ quy định cho em cái nguyên lý khi em đi làm thực tế thôi. Thực tế em phải dựa trên cái chủ quan của em đánh giá, chứ không phải là em nó không quy định chi tiết là ABCD đâu. Nó quy định là con số đó phải lấy bằng số này số kia là không có. Em dựa trên cái thực tế em thấy cái nào hợp lý để em làm thôi. Đó, nó là như vậy. Cái gì này trả lời đúng câu hỏi cho ta. Đúng chưa?
Dạ em cảm ơn anh ạ. Chắc là em phải đọc kỹ hơn cái này.
Ok.
Và như vậy là thường nếu mà mình sử dụng phương pháp định giá một cái dự án thì thực tế người ta sẽ không dùng comparable, tại vì người ta không tìm được một cái dự án tương đương giống tới mức độ vậy để mà người ta có thể định giá, đúng không?
Đúng. Còn nếu em tìm được thì em vẫn có thể làm.
Dạ.
Ok, đúng rồi. Em có tìm được thì mới làm, nhưng nếu nguyên tắc đó thì em phải tìm 3 tài sản như vậy lần, chứ không phải một tài sản không được.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any question?
Hello, giờ thì em hết câu hỏi, không biết các bạn còn không?
Ok.
Anh ơi, em muốn hỏi phương pháp định giá chi phí á, tại vì hiện tại bây giờ nhóm em đang làm một cái dự án là OPO, là định giá nguyên một cái dự án luôn, thì em đang tính là làm phương pháp định giá chi phí. Thì em muốn hỏi rằng là tụi em tính làm định giá chi phí và tính cả thu nhập luôn. Thì em muốn hỏi rằng là trong một cái dự án á, thì cái bên cạnh cái chi phí về giá đất thì về cái chi phí xây dựng á, thì mình có thể xác định cái cái chi phí đó như thế nào để mà có thể phù hợp hơn, tại vì cái ấy là sẽ gồm mà trong chi phí xây dựng thì sẽ gồm bao nhiêu cái loại chi phí, và những cái thông tin đó thì mình có thể kiếm từ đâu để mình có thể định giá được cái bất động sản nó tốt hơn, và cũng như là về giá đất. Dạ.
Ok em ok, còn ý đang nói là như này, về một cái dự án thì anh cũng ít khi dùng phương pháp chi phí. Thì thực ra đối với phương pháp chi phí đó, một dự án thì cái dự án đó nó phải hình thành rồi, tức là nó phải có thông số kỹ thuật và nó hình thành rồi. Giả sử nó là cái tòa Landmark 81 đi, đúng không, thì có nghĩa là em đã xây xong rồi và lúc đó chỉ cập nhật lại cái giá thị trường của cái công trình xây dựng đó thôi. Còn tất cả những thông số kỹ thuật của cái tòa nhà đó là giữ nguyên. Có nghĩa là có 81 tầng thì em cũng đi tìm một cái đơn giá như thế nào đó cho cái 81 tầng, chứ không phải là em tìm một đơn giá cho 5 tầng em nhân. Đó, nó khác nhau. Thì như vậy là em giữ nguyên cái thông số kỹ thuật, có nghĩa là đúng một cái tòa 81 tầng, và tôi cập nhật lại cái giá hiện tại nếu mà xây được một cái tòa 81 tầng thì là bao nhiêu, thế thôi. Thì đó gọi là cái pháp chi phí. Anh cách nhìn như vậy đó, cách nhìn là nhìn về quá khứ, đúng không, và quá khứ của nó tôi giữ nguyên tất cả mọi thứ về quá khứ đó để làm ra hình thành cái đó, đúng không, về thông số kỹ thuật. Thông số kỹ thuật của nó rồi xong em cập nhật lại cái giá hiện tại. Còn bây giờ em hỏi làm sao để anh đang hỏi, anh sẽ chia sẻ cho em về cái thực tế ở Việt Nam mình làm như thế nào nha. Ở một chủ đầu tư là làm sao, và ở một công ty thẩm định giá họ làm sao. Tại vì công ty thẩm định giá họ làm thì họ phải ra báo cáo thẩm giá, và báo cáo thẩm giá này họ phải bảo vệ được với chủ đầu tư, có nghĩa là bảo vệ được với bên anh, hoặc là bảo vệ được với ngân hàng. Có nghĩa là ngân hàng yêu cầu em định giá thì công ty thẩm định giá nó sẽ làm, đúng không. Thì như vậy, hoặc là với khách hàng, một khách hàng nào đó bất kỳ và muốn biết về cái giá trị của cái tài sản đó, thì như vậy mình qua lên này xong chị đi bên phải. Nói tới đâu rồi. Thì bây giờ này, nói với công ty thẩm giá thì họ sẽ dựa vào cái suất vốn của Bộ Xây dựng. Em gõ là suất vốn của Bộ Xây dựng năm 2020 hoặc 22 gì đó, anh nhớ là cái quyết định mới nhất. Trước đó nó ban hành là 934, sau đó là quyết định số bao nhiêu nhiêu đó đó. Em cứ Google đi, suất vốn của Bộ Xây dựng nha. Suất vốn của Bộ Xây dựng thì nó có cái năm. Thì trong cái suất vốn đó nó sẽ có quy định rất nhiều loại công trình. Ví dụ như nhà chung cư 15 tầng thì sao, 20 tầng thì sao, 18 tầng thì sao, 17 tầng thì sao, đối với nhà phố nhỏ lẻ thì sao, biệt thự thì sao, đối với nhà xưởng thì sao, đối với một cái khách sạn thì sao, đối với một cái resort sao, sân bay thì sao, sân banh thì sao, sân banh thì sao, rồi thể thao thì nó tức bệnh viện thì sao, tất cả mọi loại chi phí về cái đó đó thì nó sẽ quy định trong cái suất vốn đó, cái bộ suất vốn đó của Bộ Xây dựng, đúng chưa. Thì Bộ Xây dựng này là trực thuộc trung ương mà, họ sẽ ban hành một cái Bộ Xây dựng cho toàn quốc. Em hiểu ý nó không, cho toàn quốc. Thì trong đó hồi xưa thì không, bây giờ họ chia nhỏ nó thành từng vùng miền, ví dụ vùng cao, vùng 1, 2, vùng 3 gì đó, dùng vùng miền Nam, sau miền Bắc, mà miền Trung cho đó nó chính xác. Thì đó thì nó sẽ chia ra. Thì lúc đó em ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh thì em sẽ là vùng ấy đó, em sẽ có được cái bộ số vốn đó. Thì em lấy cái bộ số vốn đó em nhân, thì cái số vốn đó nó sẽ nhân trên mét vuông. Ví dụ như công trình của em là em 81 tầng chẳng hạn, em ra được cái tổng thể là bao nhiêu mét vuông mà em xây dựng đó, thì em nhân cho cái đơn giá trong số vốn đó, là em sẽ ra được cái giá trị. Còn em muốn nói là trong đó nó có bao nhiêu loại chi tiết thì thật ra trong đó nó không có. Và để em làm đơn giản nhất thì dễ hiểu nhất thì em chỉ cần nhân cái đơn giá tổng đó, rồi nhân thêm VAT, đúng không, tức là giá trị gia tăng đó, nhân thêm cái chi phí quản lý, chi phí quản lý này nọ các thứ. Thì em ra được cái giá trị công trình xây dựng theo bộ, đúng không. Đó là cái làm mà có thể bảo vệ được với khách hàng mà khách hàng không cãi được. Vì sao? Tôi áp dụng theo cái suất vốn của bộ mà, tất cả đều quy định theo cái nhà nước mà. Thì cái bộ này đưa ra cái suất vốn cũng tương đối cao nha. Suất vốn của bộ là cũng khá cao hơn thực tế đó, thực tế có thể làm thấp hơn rất nhiều. Tại vì trong quá trình em làm thì thực ra em có thể tiết kiệm chi phí ở rất nhiều cái khâu. Ví dụ như bây giờ nó nói gạch thì thật ra bây giờ em chỉ cần cái cục gạch thôi, em đâu có biết được gạch đó, nhưng mà thực tế em làm em có thể loại chọn lại gạch tốt hơn, lại gạch dởm hơn, lại gạch như thế nào đó để có thể giảm cái chi phí xuống, đúng không. Thì thực tế người ta làm có thể thấp hơn, và anh thấy rằng cái suất vốn của bộ nó cao hơn. Tuy nhiên em dùng suất vốn của bộ khi em làm ở một công ty thẩm giá là em có thể bảo vệ được với khách hàng, thì thẳng được với khách hàng. Còn trong trường hợp em làm ở một chủ tư như anh, đúng không, thì em làm sao, thì em phải gọi thầu, tức là em mời thầu. Tức nghĩa là gì, em đang có một cái chạy tầm thôi 50 thôi, 50 thôi. Em mời thầu có nghĩa là giả sử em có một cái tòa nhà đây 20 tầng hay 30 tầng, diện tích sàn xây dựng bao nhiêu đó và bao nhiêu tầng gì đó, thì em sẽ mời những cái nhà thầu vô, là họ sẽ chào giá để coi nếu như họ làm họ sẽ làm với giá bao nhiêu, đúng không. Thì em kiếm khoảng chừng 3 năm nhà thầu gì đó. Em có bao giờ nghe đến tên ví dụ như là Cô Tech Công nè, đúng không, Hòa Bình nè, hoặc là An Phong nè, rất là nhiều cái nhà thầu là những họ Alo. Tức là hỏi những cái đơn vị thứ ba mà chuyên đi xây dựng thì em cứ gọi báo giá từ bên đó. Tức là em có cái công trình như vậy, em muốn xây dựng như thế thì xin báo giá, đúng không? Họ sẽ gửi cho em những cái báo giá cho cái công trình đó, thì em lấy bình quân của ba cái báo giá, hoặc là em lấy cái thấp nhất để em nhân cho cái thì lên trong cùng. Đây lấy ngoài cái đó để em sẽ được cái đơn giá cho cái đó. Rồi em sẽ nhân cho cái theo cái diện tích mà nó xây dựng đó, thì em sẽ ra được cái giá trị của công trình xây dựng đó. Ok, được chưa Cường?
Dạ vâng anh. Vậy thì sẵn thì em cũng muốn hỏi về cái mà tính thu nhập trên doanh thu á anh, thì tụi em tính là sẽ tính theo cái cách là mình sẽ dự phóng cái quy trình mà cái dự án đó họ bán căn hộ và cái doanh thu theo từng năm là bao nhiêu, xong rồi discount về thì giống như anh nói. Thì nhưng mà hiện tại thì cái kế hoạch bán và cái kế hoạch bán và số lượng căn hộ mà họ bán được theo từng năm là bao nhiêu á, thì em muốn hỏi rằng là cái thông tin này thì mình assume hay là mình sẽ dựa vào đâu để mình có thể đưa ra được cái kế hoạch mà bán ra của cái dự án đó để mà tính được cái doanh thu theo từng năm?
Ok, thì nếu em làm cho một công ty thẩm giá, lúc nào em cũng bắt cho em hai cái như thế. Một là em làm cho công ty thẩm giá, hai là em làm cho chủ tư. Nếu em làm cho công ty thẩm định giá thì cái của em phải assume, hoặc em hỏi chủ tư luôn, bên anh có kế hoạch bán cái đó trong bao lâu, một tháng bán được bao nhiêu, hoặc là một năm bán được bao nhiêu, và cái tiến độ thu tiền của anh em phải hiểu như nào. Giá của em phải đi kèm với lại tiến độ thu tiền. Thì khi cái file tính của em đó, nếu em muốn chính chi tiết và tính đúng thì em phải bóc ra tiến độ thu tiền. Tại vì thực tế căn hộ chung cư ở Việt Nam mình là bán trước khi xây dựng, cho nên nó sẽ có cái tiến độ đi kèm với tiến độ thu tiền á. Thì nó sẽ có cái tiến độ đó, thì em như vậy em mới nhân ra cái doanh thu của em nó chính xác được. Còn nếu như em làm ở công ty thẩm giá thì em không cần phải quan tâm nhiều về mấy cái đó, em chỉ cần một năm thì tổng doanh thu của một năm là bao nhiêu, em chiết khấu theo năm thôi thì cũng được. Về sai số nó cũng có nhưng không nhiều. Còn nếu em làm cho chủ tư thì em buộc phải tách ra chi tiết luôn là năm tháng nào tôi thu về bao nhiêu và tỷ lệ thu là bao nhiêu, chính xác từng đồng từng số đó. Thì em buộc phải quan tâm đến cái phương thức thanh toán và cái tiến độ thanh toán. Ví dụ như đợt đầu tiên thì em thu bao nhiêu phần trăm, thứ hai bao nhiêu phần trăm thu khách hàng như thế nào đó, thì em phải và cái tiến độ thanh toán này nó ảnh hưởng rất lớn đến cái giá đầu vào của em đưa. Giả sử một cái chung cư đó mà tiến độ thanh toán của họ là trong vòng 2 năm, đúng không, thì mỗi tháng họ thanh toán là ví dụ như 1% thu đều, tháng nào cũng thu 1%. Với một cái chung cư khác là họ thanh toán trong cũng 2 năm, nhưng mà đầu tiên do họ thanh toán 50%, sau đó năm thứ hai lại tiếp tục thanh toán 50%, thì như vậy cái tiến độ nó thu tiền nó gắt hơn rất nhiều, và như vậy khách hàng sẽ không mua. Và như vậy tức là họ không giới hạn số lượng khách hàng rất nhiều, khách hàng không mua được, không có đủ tiền để thanh toán, cứ mỗi tháng trả 100% rất là ít, thì như vậy họ có khả năng xoay tiền được vào thằng làm được chuyện đó. Vì như vậy nó sẽ ảnh hưởng đến giá bán. Chỉ cái người mà thực sự làm trong chủ tư họ sẽ định giá được cái giá bán rất cao hơn. Có nghĩa là nếu như anh là bên anh thì bên anh mà thanh toán trong vòng 2 năm như vậy mà mỗi tháng thu 1%, anh định giá cái giá anh bán cao hơn. Có nghĩa là anh sử dụng bình thường anh bán 30 triệu mét vuông đi, thì em sẽ bán lên khoảng 35 triệu mét vuông đó, hoặc là 32 triệu mét vuông. Còn nếu em thu gắt 50% lần đầu tiên năm nhất, rồi năm thứ hai, vừa qua năm thứ hai thu tiếp 50%, ví dụ như vậy, thì anh sẽ định giá nó thấp thôi, khoảng chừng 30 hoặc là dưới 30 thôi, khoảng 28 thôi. Tức là 30 là giá thị trường đi đó. Ở một công ty thẩm định giá người ta chỉ quan tâm giá thị trường thôi, mà ta quan tâm đến tiến độ thanh toán, người ta ok là 30. Tại sao? Người ta bảo vệ được con số 30 đó, người ta bảo vệ được. Con số 20, 32 hoặc 28 thì thực sự khó bảo vệ, tại vì đó là mang tính ước tính của mình, và mình đưa ra rồi bắt đầu mình bán, rồi bắt đầu mới test rồi có thị trường có chấp nhận được không. Ok, thì bây giờ khi làm thực tế ở công ty thẩm giá thì đang hỏi về cái đó, đang hỏi về cái số lượng đó, thì em để bảo vệ được cho em thì em phải hỏi bên chủ tư là họ sẽ có cái kế hoạch bán hàng như thế nào để áp dụng theo kế hoạch của người ta là nhanh nhất, tốt nhất. Còn không mà người ta không đưa thì em buộc phải đi tìm. Có lẽ em đi tìm cho thị trường thì có ở khu vực như vậy, lân cận như vậy, trong một đợt bán hàng họ bán bao nhiêu căn, họ bán bao lâu thì xong. Em phải hỏi tất cả các dự án lân cận luôn và cái tiến độ bán hàng đó thì mới biết được. Vậy thôi, em phải tìm ít nhất khoảng 3 cái, hoặc là nếu có thì một cái cũng được, rằng là những cái xung quanh đó chủ tư đó cũng mới mở bán, và bán thực ra là bán trong vòng được bao nhiêu lâu sẽ bán được như thế, để họ sale của cái dự án đó em sẽ biết. Rồi, được chưa Cường?
Rồi, em cảm ơn anh.
It seems so good that everyone speaking Vietnamese, and I think that anyway, because it is after class hours, so I'm happy that everyone get the best knowledge, because I think that the guest speaker can explain better in Vietnamese, and everyone can also raise question in Vietnamese really good. So I think that it is the best part that you can put into your report, okay? In terms of going to do investigation, and the report is better. So thank you so much, guest speaker, Mr. Hoàng Anh.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, anyone have any more question? Okay, I think that it is pretty late now, so I really thank our guest speaker today, and hopefully, yeah, in the future, we can have more time, yeah, more chance to have him back, either in this class or other class. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best in your work. Thanks.
Thank you, Miss Kim.
Thank you, and
Yes.
bye everyone. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you.